Crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Welcome to the Crossover. It's brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com.
It is March after all.
No, continue your conversation.
It's March.
No, that's okay. We're just having a good conversation about places, college towns that you would live in that you've not lived in before.
Evanston.
What?
I didn't live in Evanston.
You have not lived there before.
No, I haven't.
Who would want to live there?
It's actually a great town. A lot of old money right on the lake.
There is a lot of old money.
There's a lot of old money in Evanston. I'm lucky enough to know some little old money out there. Take a boat or two.
I don't think your boy's gonna be there as long as he wants to be there.
Yeah, as long as that Duke job doesn't open up.
No.
I think John Shire might stay for a bit.
Oh no, I know.
Unless he's a package deal to the Spurs.
Yeah.
They draft Cooper Flagg, Popovich out. Think about this. So let's top 5. Now let's take out the major markets like LA and Minneapolis. And do you want to take out Columbus? Because Columbus is a large market.
Mm-hmm.
Like real true college towns in the Big Ten that you wouldn't mind living in.
The Big Ten.
In the Big Ten. So take out Evanston because that's Chicago. We can leave Bloomington and Lafayette in there. But take out Minneapolis, USC, UCLA, Washington.
You only got like 5 now. You're down to 5.
No, you're not. Turns out there's 100 teams in the Big Ten. You're down to many. How about West Lafayette?
I would do Bloomington.
Bloomington's a good quality college town.
How about Madison?
Madison is
so
Madison's in your top 5.
100%.
1 and 2. Madison and Bloomington are top 1.
Iowa City for a town that gets after it. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I guess what are you looking for? What do you
okay, so what age are we? So are we post college or are we like, 40s to you're about 10 years away from retirement?
I think you are what you are right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
You are what you are right now.
So maybe Madison, Iowa City are still not. I've experienced those, so that they're past.
I think Madison, you get a little bit of both. You could tear up the town, or you could hide away.
Okay, I got my 5. I got Madison for sure, Bloomington, Lincoln. Oh, I haven't. It has to be you haven't.
No, you go ahead.
You can put Lincoln in there.
Lincoln, Champaign, and West Lafayette. Here's why I would live in Champaign.
West Lafayette. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's why I would live in Champaign. Say exactly why I live in Champaign.
Like College Park.
I haven't.
Spring break capital of the Northeast.
Isn't College Park?
That's
Maybe
what they say.
That's what they say. I kind of threw 5. I don't care. I'm never living in West Lafayette. Champaign for a guy my age. With the bars that are there and the job opportunities that are there, and the fact that they do care about Illini football, and I have a lot of friends who still live there. For me personally, Champaign 4. But my top 3 easy: Madison, Bloomington, Lincoln.
I was surprised by Champaign because I did not know it was that rural.
Yeah,
so where you could stand basically
town
outside of the basketball arena, and there is a cornfield, like not too far away.
Yeah, but it's a nice little campus.
It's a good college town in, I don't know, would you call it Southern Illinois?
Mid South Illinois.
I had a couple nights in Champaign. Good times. Had a couple nights in Madison. Good times.
I had the drunkest night of my life in Champaign. So drunk that I woke up in the morning, and before I
felt like I got hit by Dick Butkus.
I was going to leave.
Nice.
I was going to drive home. And my buddy goes, "Hey Matt, before you go, how about you just blow into this breathalyzer to make sure that you're okay?" And I blew a 0.16 in the morning.
Hello.
Okay. So they had to have me wait 4 more hours before I could leave. They're like, "You must blow under the legal limit before you can go."
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Do not overlook Eugene. You guys probably have not been out there. Eugene is a unique town now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it matters what age.
I bet I could do some
But
damage
you got
there.
to, like, I think you would, Josh, I think if you
Hot take.
leaned into the granola lifestyle, you'd like it.
No, I'm not. Eugene, Oregon, not for me.
Josh likes his
pretty granola.
But Josh likes his.
It's very much a liberal town.
Yeah,
you
he
like your
he
quinoa?
likes his chains. He likes his.
Oh, but they got the craft breweries there. They got some great local food.
Yeah, you can grow a beard out there.
Josh, I don't know. They might have enough chains for you.
Why am I the chain guy?
I don't know.
That is so demeaning.
How was that
To be
thrusted upon me?
There's not enough fast food out there, you fatty, right? You can't eat all the burgers you want to eat, you fatso.
You could be fat
that's
anywhere.
What you just said.
You could be fat wherever you want.
Well, clearly you can't be fat in Eugene, Oregon, is what you're saying, because there's not enough fast food out there.
I just said,
Can you be fat in Eugene, Oregon? No question.
I don't know. I think they're. Hey, I don't think I've met many fat people in Eugene.
Well, I haven't met anybody in Eugene.
Neither have I.
I really like Eugene. It's, you're hour and a half, 2 hours south of Portland. You're not very far from the water if you want to go that way. It very much is a distinct flavor of a town. It's different.
That's
and that flavor is.
But like their
granola.
athletic facilities are pretty cool. They got this world-class track stadium. The basketball arena from the outside and then like inside is pretty cool. And then you see the floor and you're like,
what's going on? Where am I?
Autzen Stadium is one of the more unique venues I've ever been to watch a game.
Yeah,
Like
Josh would love it. It's called Autzen.
Yeah, I was
it's
about to
almost
say, Autzen or Autzen.
Hey,
They named
there's
it
another
after me.
place. When I first
Full
went
question.
there, I thought that stadium was much larger. It's only like 50,000.
They pack it in though.
Really?
Yeah.
50, 55, I think.
Yeah, in that range.
So that's what I got. I told you, I was like, got a big stadium. At least like on TV, it looks like a massive stadium, or it sounds like a massive stadium. And then you told me the same thing on air. It's 50,000. You would never know if you're just watching on TV.
And it's like, it looks like the old golden sombrero, the way it's configured.
Yeah, it's just a bowl.
Yes.
It's just,
Do you know? Do they want to keep it small?
I think so, because they don't have a lot of population
Sure.
around there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think it's like an ideal size for, whether I think their basketball arena is too big, and that's like at 12. I think their football stadium is the perfect size.
Yeah, Phil Knight can only pay so many actors to show up to a Ducks game. Yeah.
well, they got maybe they go on the track of like cutting down the capacity. I was watching Houston last night. Like Houston has a weird basketball.
How many
arena.
people do you think fit in that building?
I bet a lot.
No. The trend in basketball, new basketball arenas,
I know.
is to make them real
Well, have you seen
small.
Baylor's?
Yeah.
Like Baylor is like 6,500. Like let's jam everybody in
Yeah.
there and put them on top of each other.
I think Houston is 7,000.
Yeah, but
Wow.
it like everyone sits far away from the court, and like there's a
All the camera angles make it look like the seats on the ends are way back.
Hmm.
yeah. That was a weird setup.
I know, and I'm gonna get pushback here. Okay, and I know that this has been a thing for a while. Okay,
7,100.
but so Duke, right? Their student section.
Mm-hmm.
It is like a high school student section. The way they are like shoulder to shoulder, standing, like you have to watch the game like literally horizontally. Like you have to turn your body and look this way, like you're a dang owl, in order to watch your team play basketball.
That's what you want.
That does not sound like a fun time. It does not look like a fun time to watch that
Okay.
game. like
So
that.
all right, now I know what you're going for. You're going for a little bit more comfort. You
I
like
want
the
comfort,
you like
yeah.
the amenities.
Yes, I do. Well, it's not even about the amenities. I would just prefer to stand vertically when I watch my team play basketball. I don't want to be, next between two pie size and I have no idea who they are and I'm rubbing shoulders with them trying to watch Cooper Flagg, one of the best generational talents in college basketball history.
mhm.
I don't want to be watching him like with a craned neck,
What
I'd
if what if the action's right in front of you? The basket. You're very close to the
See,
basket.
I think if you
one
sit
of the
on
baskets.
so observing that, and remember, it's only a 9,000 seat arena.
Yes.
It looks
Mhm.
smaller on TV.
Uh-huh.
It looks tiny on TV.
But when you're a student, and I don't know if they do it by grade or, like you gotta have a
gotta
10
camp
you gotta
outside.
get your,
Yeah.
you gotta get your
Like I think
tickets
sitting
and-
behind the baskets, there's more room as a student compared to the sides where they are jammed in there. I mean, look at when that student passed out.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
they had to
yeah.
like crawl over students like to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, I had a friend. She went to Duke and Mike Krzyzewski's last season, and that last Duke North Carolina game at Duke, they had to camp out there. Like they had to have a tent, camp out there for weeks. At least one person of your group had to be in the tent at all times, and then they would give you like tests. They would like give you pieces of paper, and you would have to like fill out a test and like turn it in.
Typical Duke.
And if you didn't get enough answers correctly, they would kick you out of line.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's an action.
Really?
Yes.
Tryhards.
Yes.
Tryhards.
It's not a
Yes.
social event.
And
Yeah.
apparently it's like they would ask you like one of the questions was like, what did Zion Williamson say? Or what did this person say at a press conference, you know?
Feed me more.
His
Well,
shoe
my shoe
broke.
doesn't.
His
yeah.
shoe broke.
I don't think so. Can you recall a game? Maybe it's a Villanova game where Creighton students, there were like some that were outside for a while. Because when the Devaney Center existed and they had Dead Dog Alley, they would let people in and they would camp out. Remember when on the sides at Devaney where they'd pull the gate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd have the gate closed, but you could line up for like hours on hours.
Mhm.
I don't know if we've had many of those cases at PBA. But
I mean,
can you
they-
recall, like, I think there was a Villanova game where students camped out or were out in front of the chai for like 8 to 10 hours.
They moved that now where they let them go inside either in the Grand Hall or in Hall A if
Another
it's
thing
not
about
being
being soft in this generation.
it's not being used. I mean, the day I guess it was the Xavier game when Mac was like, "Hey, I'll bring pizza or whatever." They lined them all because it was cold outside. Everyone went in there
Soft.
and gave them all pizza, napkins.
I know that some collectors lined up on Doug McDermott bobblehead day that were out
Sure.
for a while
I bet
because they wanted to make sure they got one.
Yeah.
We don't why don't we camp around here?
Is it fun?
At Creighton,
Is it really...
it's not like there's not enough people for the demand, right? Outside of a couple games a year.
I never 4 years never camped out once for any of those games.
Well,
I just
yeah.
Like even for football.
So you didn't go to a basketball school, you know?
well football too. I didn't camp out for football.
Yeah, that one.
But see, they've changed it. So back in the heyday, you actually had, even though you never sat in it, your ticket had a seat number on it.
Yep.
Really?
Now it's just general admission seating,
yeah, you
right?
just go. Now a lot of people go way too late. That's the one thing. Like the Nebraska student section is a fairly late arriving crowd, unless it was for like the Colorado game. Like that was a different story. And the Ohio State game was another. Like in 2019, that was another one where people camped out a long time for that. But like no, like I never really. Well, you know, for Nebraska basketball when they played Purdue and Wisconsin last year, there were long lines out the door for the students at PBA.
Gary, did you ever camp out for like U2 tickets or something like that?
No.
I mean, back in the day, kids, you had to wait and
Well,
line
so
at
the only
Ticketmaster
at like
J.C.
place that
Penney
I
or something.
technically camped out was for a Star Wars movie
Okay.
when I was younger. So I've never, and I stood in line at a Best Buy on a Black Friday.
My
a few years
dad,
back.
Okay.
My dad was standing outside for Empire Strikes Back, and someone walked out of the theater and said, "I can't believe Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker," or "I can't believe Darth Vader is Luke's father." And that guy, my dad goes, "That guy, no joke, got jumped right in front of me." Because that, like, there were multiple people who like were, and then it happened, and like the theater he watched it in were pissed because it got spoiled.
Yeah,
So-
we used to like, before online, like Ticketmaster, people would camp out in front of the box office.
Yeah.
When tickets would go on sale. Like I've seen that. We had some people with the Twins in spring training that was their whole thing. They could order online, but they always wanted to be the first in person. So it'd be, people that are retired and they'd be out there like at 3 a.m. and the ticket window opens up at 9.
Yeah.
Great.
But that was like for concert tickets. You're right. People would camp out, and that was if you were first in line, you got first
You
availability.
get
There
the
were not
tickets.
scalpers.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I'll camp out for barbecue. We go to Austin, Texas, Franklin's Barbecue.
Yeah, some of those places you got to go
I will.
That's
I'll,
early.
I'll
That is
camp.
ridiculous.
And they only have so much barbecue.
They only
too.
have, but they do. They only have so much brisket and pulled pork.
They're
and
open for like
sausages.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And they fill the line. If you're at the end of the line, you might be screwed.
So I would camp out for that. I would camp out for food. I don't know about tickets anymore. I'll pay a premium on StubHub and Vivid Seats or Game Time or whatever the heck it might be, if it doesn't mean I don't have to stand out in the cold and
I
get
like-
tickets for cheaper.
I like to get to whatever event that I'm going to early.
Me too.
But if if we're dealing with a lot, like if we're talking about before the gates open
Yeah.
and there's a line, like I'm gonna probably try and wait till that dies down a little bit.
Yeah, but don't you go to a lot of Royals games with their giveaways?
Yeah, but I don't really care about the giveaways.
Really?
Yeah, I just watch them all go in. It's like, oh, cool. Well, if they got a bobblehead for me by the time I get in there, great, I'll take it. And they usually do. Like there's usually no reason at all to be,
Yeah.
for however many thousand people to be lined up at whatever gate before it opens. Like, I don't care about the giveaways.
Now, speaking of the Royals, how soon on a daily basis do they run out of a Z-Man?
Yeah, a lot. They're this is exciting.
It looks great.
It's a great sandwich. So you've never been to Kansas City. That's
I
right.
haven't.
You're about to go to Kansas City
I am.
for the first time.
Yes.
So maybe
In
you
May.
hold off on the Z-Man now that it's available at the K.
Yes, I will. I am going to a game same weekend as the Kansas City Motor Speedway race. So it'll be, I think they're playing the Red Sox. So
There you
I will hold
You
out.
get your Z-Man there, go somewhere
But what-
else when you take your
What if
separate
it
trip.
doesn't taste the same as it does?
It probably doesn't.
Oh.
It probably won't. It probably won't. I never get
Yeah.
barbecue at the Royals games because I'm already full of
Mhm.
barbecue from the other. I don't usually eat at the Royals games
So
because I've just gotten done absolutely stuffing my face with barbecue right before the games.
and Josh needs the chains. So real quick, I saw your tweet. I saw the Z-Man, whatever. And I have this question, and I think this is a great group of people to ask this question. Is the barbecue sandwich, whether it be brisket or pulled pork, is that becoming a staple of our American pastime of baseball? Is that becoming a baseball staple item now? Because I feel like
Along with the conversation
along
of
with
hot
the
dogs.
hot dog
No.
and the fries and the beer, is it not trending in that way? Because every stadium's got a pulled pork sandwich now. And there's always that one friend who, while you're eating a hot dog and you're having a beer, they just have barbecue sauce all over their face eating a sandwich. Is
Yeah.
that not trending that way?
No, I don't
Okay.
think it is. I don't think it is. But in Kansas City, like if you're just going to a Royals game, then you're gonna want to eat some barbecue. And they have some good spots in there,
Mhm.
but like it's gonna require a table, you know? Right? You're gonna need
It's a good point. It's a good point. You can't really eat it in your seat as you will.
right. And so there's some
I just had to ask that question. I'm just noticing a lot more and more, even at like Nebraska baseball games, they got pulled pork sandwich.
barbecue nachos, barbecue pork nachos.
Barbecue is
Yeah.
making its way into baseball.
Barbecue nachos in a helmet.
Hell yeah.
You have to add that.
That happens a lot.
Like when you do your fortune cookie with your wife, you say in bed. Now you're supposed to say
In a
nachos
helmet.
in a helmet.
In a helmet.
Everything should be eaten out of a helmet at a baseball game,
Like everything?
except for a hot dog.
I don't think
agree
I've
more.
ever gotten a thing out of a helmet.
You never eaten? Oh my god, I had.
Oh no, you have. You have gotten ice cream.
Yes, small helmet.
Small helmet.
Small helmet doesn't fit on my head.
But have you tried? Because now there are Sundays that are in the plastic, the big helmet.
regular size
Yeah.
helmet? No, I have not had that.
I've eaten Chinese stir fry out of a helmet at a Sox game.
That's cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, chow mein.
I had paella at a Tampa Bay Rays game. Everybody makes fun of me for that one. It's like, you got paella.
Paella is incredible. The Spaniard dish.
Yeah,
I mean,
the dude had
it's very
he had the
nice.
thing going
Yes.
behind the counter. I'm like, I want some of that. And he puts it in a Chinese container and he hands it to me. And I'm at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Paella chicken, paella with chicken or paella with shrimp.
All of the things. It was,
Okay,
it was
all-
the shrimp
all
and the
the
mussels.
Yeah.
And the
Hell
whole
yeah.
deal.
Paella is awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not going to get any qualms from me in terms of
It was
that.
fantastic. And
It's a
I had
good meal.
I think I had a Cuban at that game too. I wanted to taste
You
all
gotta
of
go.
Tampa.
Oh my god, you got to go to a Sox game because the Sox, they don't have like they have like hot dog, like your traditional hot dog vendors, but they just all have like carts and it's all down the line. And you can get Chinese, you can get barbecue, you can get corn off the cob,
Yeah.
and it's like elote, right? And
Yeah.
they put the cheese and the lime and the salt and the whatever. It's
It's been a
incredible.
long time since I've been to a White Sox game.
I like going to.
So
the
have a lot of
South.
other people.
Yep. Including the White Sox.
Got to go to Rico Benny's though. Get that breaded steak sandwich.
There you go.
Incredible.
There you go.
And then, while you're full and you're carrying all that food, make sure you sit in the upper deck, which is the steepest upper deck in
Yeah,
baseball.
No, if you're going to a Sox game, you gotta sit downstairs.
I saw 3 people take a tumble walking up Baxter
Oh,
Saturday
that
night.
is steep up in the upper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a
Everyone was fine. It's not the arena's fault, but
What else did
No,
I
it's the
have
Orange.
that was like a taste of the town? Oh, I had a Fenway Frank.
Yeah.
I never had a Dodger dog. I've never been there.
Overrated.
Yeah.
You go.
I
But
did
like
have
you still
one
got to
time.
get one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You ever have a?
I booed Sweet Caroline at the Red Sox game.
Oh.
you ever have a cub burrito?
No, but I've had many beers at a Cubs game.
Isn't
one
that
time.
isn't that our
Yeah.
staple, right?
Yeah.
It's like you ever have a Dodger dog, you
Yeah.
ever have a
But I never-
Fenway
but I
Frank?
didn't
You
sit-
ever have a Bud Light at a Wrigley Field?
But I
game?
didn't sit in the bleachers and do the cup snake or whatever. I just
Nah,
sat in a
that's
regular
overrated.
seat like a normal
Sitting in
person.
the bleachers is.
But I took the train. I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
driving today, baby.
Hey, sitting in the bleachers is good for one time to experience it. But like, if you want to sit there and watch the game, because it is social hour.
Yeah.
Like if I was going with buddies and we were there just to drink, it'd be a good spot. If you're going there like, okay, I only come to Chicago a couple times a year and I just want to watch a game.
It's all about the left field foul pole. If you
And
can get up into the 200, the left field foul pole where the air conditioning's at, you get a good view of the stadium.
I also hate sitting in the outfield. Even though I think one of the best seats at Warner Park is those ones that are just inside the left field foul pole that are right next to the tunnel.
Oh, okay.
That what they call it, the home run porch or whatever. I like those seats, but I don't like sitting in the outfield at a baseball game. Everybody says, hey, when you go to the K, sit out by the fountains.
Yeah, those are good.
But I don't like sitting in the outfield. I don't like that view.
Yeah, but you got to see. I mean, you go to enough Kansas City games, you could sit.
I like sitting in the upper deck,
so
right behind home plate.
I think I've had every experience at a Royals game. Like I've covered all the bases now. So we've got the outfield. The really really good seats, or behind the dugout, in a suite. I've sat in a suite. I've sat in the dugout suite for a game, which is mildly overrated.
Really,
but definitely fun.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a suite, but it's also like on the field at the same time. The outfield ones, I gotta say, like the outfield with the
next to the bullpen,
unless it's a hot day, like a super hot day in the summer, and the sun's just like right on you, and there's no hiding from it. The fountain seats are really good. That's as close to as good as it gets there.
I'm a 208, 209 type of guy. Up in there, right on the third base line. You get a little bit elevated.
Foul ball territory?
No, with how Wrigley is, you have like the
overhang.
The overhang on it. So maybe if it'll like roll off or maybe bounce down on you, but it's not necessarily foul ball territory. But is there any recommendations for me to sit when I go to my first Kansas City Royals game in May? You have any recs for me? Where's a good first spot? Like, hey, like,
Hey, was it the Crown Club?
The fountains.
What was the area you sat last year behind home plate? Like the
Diamond Club.
The Diamond Club.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And the seats aren't the hard plastic seats. They're like that. They have air. They have the
cushion. Oh my god!
It's not cushion, but it has like it's mesh.
No, I know what you're talking about.
So like your butt could breathe a little bit.
Have you been in the 1914 club, Gary?
No.
Oh my lord, it is. You can never really go to a Cubs game the same way again. I mean, it is. Yeah. They also have the like handles, right, where you put your arms on a seat. They're wooden in the 1914 club.
Yeah, it's like whiskey themed.
Exactly. And then you walk down there, and then they got a beautiful bar. They have literally like carved ham, carved prime rib. You can get like different like drinks.
Yeah. We took a tour through there. So isn't that where you can? Don't you get like a window to the batting cage?
Yes.
In there.
Yes. You also get a window to the batting cage, and you can see them do warm ups. And then also too, like, they had this just long bar. Like it is just long and it is wooden and it goes like across almost the entire place.
Do they still have it now at Wrigley now that they've redone? Probably not now that they've redone everything, where like the visitor clubhouse used to have to like walk over a bridge. Like and it was kind of up.
I think they redid.
It's still a long trip, but it's not as long as it used to be.
Yeah.
Now, where Gary likes to sit in Kansas City, elevated like behind home plate, those seats used to be very popular in Wrigley, but they've actually made that a club in its own.
Right in front of the press box.
Yeah, called the Catalina Club.
But I don't like to sit low. Like to this day, I don't know why people ever would sit in the first couple of rows at Memorial Stadium behind the benches, because you basically watch the game on Husker Vision. I know it's bougie, and both Nebraska, Creighton, and Omaha all have the baseline seats.
Yeah.
Some have sideline seats. I think that's a bad seat. I like to be up where I can see the floor or the field.
I like to be close. I like to be as close as I can.
I will tell you, I think even doing games courtside, great. I'm lucky enough to do that, but it's not like a great view. Like I don't mind. Sometimes we go to places where they're up off the floor a little bit, and you can see the whole floor.
You don't get to see everything, but you get to feel everything. Upstairs you can't feel anything. They're just people moving around.
I'm not an elevated or non-elevated guy. Like either way, it doesn't matter to me. I'm a side to side guy. I can't be behind a basket or I can't be in an end zone. I don't enjoy the views of that. Even in like hockey, where hockey you can kind of get away with it. I like to be going this way. I like to be going vertically, not like.
Yep. See, I think if I'm not sitting in the club section, I think the end zone, I don't mind North or South Stadium up high where you can see everything. The whole play develop.
It's just the depth perception. It just seems like a 3-yard run, like is like an 8-yard run, and like a 10-yard run looks like a 40-yard run. Like and just
Well, now
can't really tell.
Now I'm in the South Stadium. I'll be sitting in bougie seats in about 3 years.
That's right. Watch out.
Cost me about $4,500 per year, and then there's a season you got to buy the ticket. But yeah, it'll be worth it to have some, maid service, waiter service.
Yeah.
Take care of you.
My
They park your car when you come into Lincoln.
My wife's parents have a great set. They're in the corner in West Stadium, like in the section next to the visitors section.
Oh yeah.
So they have
okay.
super easy access to get in and out. There's a tunnel right there, and it's a great view. It's a perfect view. Like even when the action is on the far other side, because they're basically on like the 10 or 15 yard line. Even when the action is far on the other side, like it's still really good. That's a good setup. It's relatively low.
You get an angle too, probably there.
Yeah,
Like look,
yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
good stuff.
There's a calendar that's out. The guy does a calendar every year of obstructed seats.
Oh
like
yeah,
every
yeah.
month.
Yeah.
There's the one at Assembly Hall that they always do that one, and there's a guy at the top who's like, "Come on, ref," or something like that.
Well, so Wrigley has bad obstructed view seats.
Oh
and
yeah, behind poles.
Yeah, and if you buy your ticket on a secondary market, more than likely it's not going to say it, and then you show up and you're right behind a
beam.
Like, so the obstructed view seats they sell in Lincoln, but they let you know that you're going to be sitting behind a pillar,
a pole,
in the lower level on both sidelines.
Yeah, and in the student section, because there's the one section that goes up in East Stadium, and then there's the other giant one that's in South Stadium. So like the older kids, whatever, used to get I don't know if this is still the case. They get the priority to sit in the East or whatever. But if you're way back in the East and you're underneath the overhang, you could only see half the field.
Yeah. Oh, that's
you have to look out. You have to watch on a crappy screen from 1994.
So that's not a sign. It's first come, first serve. But if you do come late, you still get that overhang on the student section. So it's all about like trying to measure out.
They didn't, for the longest time, they didn't have TVs.
I know.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, right field is bad for Wrigley.
It's an old
down
stadium.
The right field line, that's where you're going to hit a lot of poles. Don't sit in right field. Also, the sun gets there.
PWP fan writes in, "Thanks, Matt. I'm going to dream about a breaded steak sandwich all day long now."
God, me too. Rico Benny's, nothing better. Nothing better.
If you run a restaurant and want to deliver us some barbecue or steak sandwiches, please feel free to do so.
Breaded steak sandwiches.
I'm not going to be his.
Yeah, okay. You can have your steak breaded, whatever you want.
I don't know. I'd like a breaded steak.
If Bradley Cooper is listening and he'd like to give us one of his whatever steak sandwiches.
Philly
he's got a Philly whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently it's incredible.
Yeah. Apparently it's fine.
Apparently it's good.
It's Bradley Cooper. Everything he does is incredible.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
They haven't been the same in Nebraska with Philly cheesesteak sandwiches since Chartreuse Caboose left Lincoln.
Oh, the Chartreuse Caboose. Indeed.
There are some places in Lincoln like I love Doozies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like Lincoln had some good sandwich shops back in the day, and then Josh Hodgson's of the world took over.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're like, where are my chains?
Like the Jimmy John's.
I love a Jimmy John's.
How did I get this label?
Josh was like, I walked into Josh's office yesterday.
I
and he
had
was
Jimmy
like,
John's.
You know what? I
yesterday.
tried a toasted Jimmy John's. He'll just try anything.
I call him Chain Hodson. That's what I call him, Chain Hodson.
Now, would you consider Little King a chain or a local?
Well,
is it a local?
It's
chain?
a local chain. Yeah.
Can you have a local chain?
It's a local chain.
I mean, Runs is a local chain.
Yeah, but I would just say like
King Kong is a local chain.
To me, it's not like I know Little King. By the way, made a comeback. The one over on Cass is like really nice.
Yeah, and it's really good. Too.
But they wasn't Little King gone?
It felt like it for a while. There's always that one downtown.
Fort never left.
There was always that one downtown that stayed there.
I know you're going to drive by and go, that place isn't open anymore. No, I assure you it is. And as mayor of Omaha, there is enough room in this town for the chains and our fine local eateries.
Mm-hmm.
I would never favor one over the other.
Yeah.
But how about we fix the friggin' roads first?
Well,
Josh is going to tear down Jericho's and add an In-N-Out.
I would never tear down
You're
Jericho's.
going to tear down Jericho's?
Hey, that's what he told me privately in a room.
So
it's my spot.
I have not seen Schlotsky's outside of Lincoln and Omaha. So local chain?
Local chain.
I've never seen a Schlotsky's in Omaha the last 15 years.
Right by the golf course on Center at 130th.
Okay. All
there's
right.
a Brugger's, there's an open parking lot, and then right there's a Schlotsky's, then across the street is the golf course.
The Schlotsky's
Across
in
the street is
Lincoln
Panera.
on 27th shut down a while ago. I was pretty bummed out about that one.
Right on
It was like
50th and O, 52nd and O, there used to be a Schlotsky's. That was great.
They probably made it at Cheddar's. And Josh is like, yes, thank God.
Just get this town at Portillo's. All right, just that's all.
That'd be
want.
great.
Just get them
Yeah.
at Portillo's.
I'd
I'd
love
gain
that.
so much weight so quickly, it'd be disgusting.
All right, dudes.
Don and Millie's.
Local chain.
Local chain.
Absolutely. Local chain.
Where you could still get 99 cents.
You starting to get the big game feelings in your tum-tum?
Hey,
yeah.
you can't say that.
What's the vibe check?
What?
Vibe
No
check is
tummy
really
on
good,
here.
but they
Can't say
have
tummy.
the fourth best betting odds. People are overlooking the Mavs.
I know.
Interesting.
Oh, in
They
about-
they're enjoying the analytics profiles
Little-
that the Dakotas
Yes.
have.
A little
They are.
flyer.
Yes.
Papa's going to Warhorse.
So who's the first game against?
either
TBD.
Oral
Oral
Roberts
Roberts or
Kansas City.
And then the semifinal is
South Dakota or North Dakota State.
All right. Yeah, as long as you don't have to run into South Dakota State before the final, right?
Nope, that's the advantage of getting the number one seed.
Yep, beautiful.
But in 90 minutes, there'll be good news coming out of Omaha men's basketball.
Whoa.
90 minutes?
Summer League awards.
Mm.
Yes.
Your AEW team of the year, the Omaha Mavericks.
Don't you dare make fun of that.
They have something in the works if Omaha is able to win the next three.
Okay.
Come on.
Here we
Come
go.
on, get the
And-
Young Bucks. Can we get
And,
the Young
and that
Bucks?
something in the
Can we
works
get-
is not going to Dayton, Ohio.
And
Can we get a Kenny Omega?
AEW, they're in the Turner family, so they can do some
Yes.
affiliated things with the
Yes.
tournament.
All right.
Yes.
AEW, not a local chain.
Do you think Chris Jericho? Do you think Chris Jericho will put him over, Josh? Probably not.
Probably not.
Most shocking heel turn. Austin, Hogan, Cena.
I mean, it's Hogan, but a generation of people will say John Cena over the weekend.
It's fun. It's fun.
Matt and
Yeah,
I were talking. They have to be careful because, like,
Yeah.
John Cena, to a lot of people, is known as just John Cena, great guy that does all the Make-A-Wish stuff.
Great guy.
But all of a sudden, in his world of professional wrestling, he is now turned heel.
He's Break-A-Wish. That-
Oh, I
That's
kind of like
that's
that.
what
Yeah.
he is. He's Break-A-Wish. He ain't Make-A-Wish. Hey, you'd sell your soul to The Rock too, Gary. Don't kid yourself. You'd
get-
sell your soul.
You guys have great afternoons. Enjoy this wind.
Hey,
Batten down the
How about-
hatches.
how about I just saw a tweet from
Rusty Lord.
Sean over Channel 7.
Okay.
15 straight hours of 65 mile an hour winds. I left Florida so we'd not have to go through that.
Yep. Sorry. You're going to get that plus a little snow tonight. Batten down the hatches.
Well, we got basketball to watch at 6 and 8.
Bring your deck furniture in.
Yeah.
It'd be a problem.
I'm worried about my power though, because I mean it was
Yeah, some power lines might
We
be
had
going
the
down.
same. We
Yep.
had this is supposed to be worse, and back in July, no power.
Oh yeah, my deck furniture was
Merrill, take
strewn
great
about.
care of you.
All right, that's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair at Omaha at EverlevelConcrete.com. It is Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
Scattered showers possible Tuesday morning, then rain becoming widespread in the afternoon with temperatures climbing into the mid-50s. Rain changes over to snow around 6 p.m. in the metro as wind ramps up. Blizzard warning in effect Tuesday evening into Tuesday night with heavy wet snow and wind gusts 50 to 65 miles per hour possible. 3 to 6 inches of accumulation expected in the metro. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Do you like to shoot fireworks? Would you like to get paid to shoot fireworks? J&M Displays wants you. Help shoot an Omaha Storm Chasers game, Memorial Park display, or any of the major shows in western Iowa and all of Nebraska. If you like to travel, J&M covers Nebraska, Kansas, and most of Missouri. They offer free training and great daily pay rates, which makes it a perfect part-time job. Visit jnmdisplays.com and click the Join Our Team tab to find out more. J&M Fireworks.
Hey, join Matt in 1620 The Zone at the grand opening of Bankers Trust Wednesday from noon to 2. Bankers Trust is proud to continue growing and investing in Omaha with their new full-service location. That's Wednesday from noon to 2 on 1620 The Zone.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Good morning. A big evening of basketball and a big evening of wind coming our way. Good thing you don't need to be outside at all to watch the basketball tonight, Josh. You'll blow away.
Yeah, it'd really affect your shot making.
It would. We're not going to be playing in outdoor parks tonight. I don't know what the wind reports look like in Columbus or Newark, or New Brunswick or whatever they call it. But I think they should be okay. We have a couple basketball games that we'll, of course, preview tonight. Creighton needs to get right at Seton Hall. Nebraska needs to throw the kitchen sink at Ohio State tonight. Will it be enough? Get your peacocks loaded, ladies and gentlemen.
You're going to need them.
Elsewhere today, our guest lineup, as normal, here on Tuesdays. Allan Bell will join the show coming up at 11:30. Jacob Bigelow at 1 o'clock. That is the lineup, powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We will also play a round of college basketball reaction, overreaction. Josh, I dove deep into the tournament, the small conference tournament brackets last night.
Did you like that Sun Belt bracket?
Yeah, I love that Sun Belt bracket. We get that thing started tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be so. In order to win the Sun Belt, if you are one of Southern Miss, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana, or Louisiana Monroe, play tonight, you'll have to win 7 games in 7 days to make the NCAA tournament.
Easy.
Yeah. Seems easy enough. And then you'll only have to win 6 games in 6, over 3 weekends to win the national championship. So if you've been through the Sun Belt and you make it all the way through,
you're kind of built for a natty.
Exactly. So we'll dive into that today on college basketball overreaction, overreaction. Elsewhere, we'll have a shout out to Bill Connolly, who agrees with me on the stupid playoff.
Oh, wow.
Touch on that. Travis Hunter fuels chit chat shows for the remainder of the year, maybe our lives.
Yeah, Hall of Fame sports debate has been birthed.
The ACC has an incredibly horrible idea, and we have a sandwich alert, and Matt Rule cracks down on TikTok.
Boy, wonder what led to that.
Matt Rule versus TikTok is the newest battle that will be going on in college sports. It seems like it's Matt Rule versus everything these days.
That guy hates everything.
Yes. As we have said before, he has takes. even takes on TikTok. Luckily, he's the head coach at Nebraska, and he could direct his team whichever direction he wants to take it. So we'll have all that coming up on the show today. We want to hear from you all, 402-951-1620 on the 42, on the hotline. You can call or text that number, tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, email Connor, Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say, of course, good morning to the YouTube streamers out there. How we doing? O-Trip says Dylan Raiola has entered the transfer portal after Matt Rule versus TikTok. Matt Rule v. TikTok. We'll see how that one turns out. There's a story that Matt Rule told and from the Pat McAfee show, Josh.
Oh, the Pat McAfee
show. A person who I'm no longer blocked by. Unblocked.
How'd you get unblocked?
I don't know, but we found out a couple of weeks ago that I checked on it and I have access to Pat McAfee show stuff.
Wow.
Yep, it's great.
Okay.
So blocked, unblocked, which is absolutely fantastic.
Maybe he got a thicker skin.
Maybe. So we welcome all of you who have joined the chat today and have joined along for the show. Will the Oma Dome come through for us tonight? According to the people out in Lincoln, they are taking great pride in the fact that their wind will be windier today.
Oh?
Their wind will be windier, according to the maps and the radars and the things of that nature, Josh.
Huh.
Their winds will be in excess of 60 miles an hour. And Omaha just to a mere mid-50s.
Is that all the Oma Dome's given us today?
It's not providing much resistance. It's not providing much resistance. But
get on that.
Batten down the hatches, put your cars in the garage, and put your deck furniture inside. It's not summer yet. Maybe after tomorrow, you get this blizzard out of here. And I mean, you go outside right now and it kind of feels springy. There's a humidity in the air. There's a wetness to it.
My son commented on that.
What did he say? Dad, what is this?
He said, "What is this air? I felt this before." And so that's humidity, son.
Yeah.
And yes, you have.
Indeed you have. By the way, a couple correspondences on Schlotzsky's. Kenlin writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox. There is one in each of the following states: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Carolina, Tennessee, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. There are 10 in Kansas, and there are 195 Schlotzskys still in Texas.
Feels like a lot.
They're dominating. Jeremy writes in on Twitter, "Man, Lincoln people are weird." I can't tell what it is. I can't tell what it is. It's like the Lincoln people love the fact that they have the Lincoln Dome or love the fact when the Lincoln Dome fails. It's always Omaha versus Lincoln.
Always.
It always
has been, always will be.
And that will continue with the weather today. Hopefully we'll clear out and get ready for some baseball this weekend.
Baseball.
Sometime at some place. Nebraska's Wednesday home game against South Dakota State has been banged. See you later.
Nebraska, Omaha.
Tonight, banged. See you later. So maybe we'll try again this weekend for our local teams. All right, we're off.
You'd be a fool to record a promo for one of those right now.
You would. That's exactly right. We are off and running on a Tuesday. Thanks for being with us. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in and welcome back, everyone. We're on a Tuesday. Once again, Allan Bell, Jacob Bigelow will join the show today. Big games all around. Why don't we just have this discussion right now so we could be a chit-chat show, we could sign our contract, and we could say, you are officially a sports talk radio show.
God, finally.
And get her out of the way here. Travis Hunter yesterday at the Combine, or maybe over the weekend at the Combine. He says this: probably me, what I do in football is harder because it's a lot on your body. Ohtani, he's a great player, but you got to do a lot in football. Takes. Give me your takes.
Oh,
I like this. We could really, this is a thought starter segment, right? The other day, I think you were gone, Josh, but we asked,
I was at a chain.
We asked, what is the best feeling in sports? It was coming off of Steph dropping 56, like getting like astronomically hot and not missing, that has to be one of the best feelings in sports. And then we had people talking about, just striping one 275 down the middle of the fairway. That's got to feel really good. But it's one, right? You never know what's going to happen on the next shot. If you're hot, you're hot in basketball. I guess if you're hot in golf too. It's an individual thing. But anyway, so now we bring ourselves to this. Which is harder, what Ohtani does or what Travis Hunter wants to do in the NFL? And then I still kind of have doubts that teams are going to – he doesn't need to play that many snaps in the NFL. Like, if they want to mix him in at wide receiver, feel free, right? If they want to do gadget plays and throw him out there and run a 9 route, like, go for it. That sounds awesome. Or if they feel like he is the best possibility to, catch a ball on a 4th and 3 or something like that, just run a slant and he'll go make a play. Like, awesome. He doesn't need to be playing 60 snaps both ways.
And then suddenly he'll go in the best interest of the team. I'm going to focus on A or B.
Right.
Because it gives my team the best chance to win.
And to be fair to Travis, like, he has been nothing but now he has said what he has wanted, and what he wants is to play both.
Yeah.
He wants to play wide receiver and he wants to play corner. And frankly, he's obviously really, really good at both. But credit to him, his kind of thing has been like, I want to play both, but like, I'm going to do what's best. I'm going to do what I'm directed to do. He has been nothing but like a good teammate and like a good, it seems like a good guy to have in the locker room. And obviously a fantastic athlete. So like, this is not against Travis Hunter. I know he's like a polarizing figure, maybe even more so obviously around here because of where he played and who he played under and all of those things. But like, I like Travis Hunter.
I do too.
I am a Travis Hunter liker. And that's just maybe not a lover, a liker. So Ohtani throwing 100, hitting 460-foot dongers, stealing bases, or Travis Hunter playing 60 snaps on both offense and defense. It's a fascinating debate.
Ohtani is better at
Embrace
both than Travis Hunter is at either of his.
We'll see. I mean, maybe Travis Hunter comes in right
positions.
away and he'll be like the best dude in the league right away on a defensive back. Maybe I have no idea.
I mean, even if he was like the second coming of Revis Island, and I don't know, Jerry Rice.
If he's Jerry Rice and Darrelle Revis at the same time,
that's what he'd have to be.
That's what he'd have to be.
To some equal Shohei Ohtani.
It's
right?
amazing. But what he's saying is it harder to be Jerry Rice and Darrelle Revis at the same time than it is to be Ohtani and Ohtani?
It's harder on the body, sure.
Yes. It's physically more demanding.
Yeah.
Indeed. You have to be in great shape in order to do that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I'm going Ohtani.
Ohtani might be the best in
he might
both
be
positions.
If you took one of the things away from him, which you did last year,
remember?
He was still the best and most impactful player in baseball, and he was only half of himself.
And is Travis Hunter taking like $12 a season and waiting 27 years to be paid by whatever team drafts him?
I don't count that as a positive for Shohei.
Oh,
I actually
okay.
count that as a negative because of what it's done for the game.
Interesting.
It's now and obviously allowed the Dodgers to be just a complete wagon.
Do you remember when we thought he was going to the Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah, because of the flight tracker and the dog.
We're idiots.
It would have been fun though. Instead, no, I'll take $700 million, but I'll take it all in like 8 years.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
By
the way, my manager's stealing from me. If you could give me
don't look, but
a couple bucks.
That's definitely happening. Yeah, he's doing fine. The money that he gets paid by either his franchise or several corporate sponsors do not factor into this conversation.
Damn New Balance commercial that I hear all the time. Hey, hey, hey.
You have to be so specifically good at baseball to do what Shohei Ohtani does, and not to mention you have to be really durable as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe that is a knock against him. He Tommy John'd himself already.
People forget.
He gets hurt sometimes. Travis Hunter, outside of him getting knocked out by that Colorado State guy that one time and getting concussed for a couple weeks, doesn't seem particularly injury prone. By the way, I got a text from Buff Josh.
Hi, Buff Josh.
Feel like you guys might be becoming some Buff fans. I'll tell you this. I am now Colorado on my college football dynasty. I like their jerseys. And that pretty much dictates all of it. It's 2046, by the way.
Times have changed.
I think what Ohtani does is harder, and that is us embracing debate today.
YouTube comment from Sal.
Hi, Sal.
I would even argue that what Bo Jackson and Dion did by playing two entirely different sports is more impressive than what Travis Hunter will attempt to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Dion playing an NFL game and a World Series game in the same day is pretty cool.
I also don't want to take away from Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, what he's done has been incredible. It probably doesn't get enough run.
I would agree.
It probably doesn't get enough.
I think we talked about it like the first month of the season, and then it kind of like, yeah, that's what he does.
I do wonder though about his, like, we're kind of living in the fantasy world where, like you said, Josh, he's Jerry Rice and he's Darrell. I don't know why those two, whatever.
I'm old. That's
whatever.
why those two popped in my head.
But let's just say he's the best and then the best on the other side. I don't think that he would meet the physical demands of being the best wide receiver in the NFL. I think he very well could at corner. At some point.
He seems a little, he's a little small, right?
Yeah. He's slight.
6'1".
Yeah, but he's slight. He's
185.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel big enough.
Yeah. I mean, he can get open though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's a great player.
I think eventually probably what happens to him is he becomes a defensive guy only, and he doesn't complain about it because he doesn't. And so I'm okay with that.
That's the other part too.
Well, thank you, Travis, for
part of it.
embracing debate.
Mm-hmm. You've fueled chit chat shows for a generation.
Yep. They'll talk about that when they come up on First Take today. Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
Always bittersweet leaving your dynasty school because they got too good. RIP the 2039 Cal Bears. Oh yeah, Gustavo Fring has jumped around a lot. Gustavo Fring is my name. He's moved around a lot. He's had national champions. His alma mater is USC, but he's never coached there.
Wow. Have they offered?
Started at BYU, had a great run at UCLA, went up to Washington State, then took the dream job at Florida State, won a couple national championships there, had a great quarterback, and then moved over to Colorado. Now you never know what happens next, Josh.
As Sal said, he's never done it in the SEC or the Big Ten, huh?
Never done it in the SEC. He has done it in the Big Ten. People forget UCLA is in the Big Ten.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Sorry.
He's a USC grad who coached at UCLA?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Scandalous.
Incredibly.
Maybe the chit chat shows were all over that one.
Maybe at the end of his career he ends up back at his alma mater, but doesn't look like it right now.
How has Stephen A. Smith not worked himself into one of these video games? I know ESPN doesn't have like
Great
a branded
question.
video game anymore, but
Great question.
Feels like NBA 2K would like, hey, Stephen A., why don't you just rattle off some takes?
Mustache Adam writes in.
A mustache.
In an era that has so emphasized specialization over everything, what both Ohtani and Travis Hunter have done are so impressive. Hunter could play 5+ seasons on both sides of the ball. That might be impressive than Ohtani. That's the other thing with this. Like, it's hard to say because we don't know how good Travis Hunter's going to be yet. Ohtani's already established himself as the best pitcher and hitter in baseball.
It does make debating this difficult, I will admit.
Although he has rarely done so at the same time. Not rarely, but less lately anyway. All right. There you go. That's what you get from us. We embrace debate on this show.
We did it.
We talk about the topics that matter to you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back after this to talk about TikTok on 1620 The Zone. Today in Lincoln, there will be more people talking. Just what we need out of Lincoln, Josh. More people talking.
They're always talking in that big building that Doesn't look like anything.
What is Mike Eckler going to say today?
Oh, that building. I'm sorry.
It's the old building.
Okay.
The Hawks.
But you meant the Capitol.
Not that building.
Okay.
Not that building. Further, a little further north.
Always windy in that building. Am I right, guys?
Nice. Wouldn't want to be at the top of the Capitol building today.
That's right.
Did you go to the top of the Capitol building for a field trip as a kid?
I did.
For whatever reason, I never got that field trip. It was always the zoo and an Omaha Royals game.
Never went to the rotunda?
No.
Looked in the old desks?
I'm scared of the elevators from what I've seen. It seems a little rickety.
I don't remember that part of it, but I know we went there, and I assume we went to the top, and they say, this is the top, kids.
Yeah. Can you look out?
I don't remember.
Not that memorable, I guess. You go to the top of Memorial Stadium and probably blow away. If you went to the top of East Stadium in the 600 level at Memorial Stadium today, and you'd have to bolt yourself down to the ground this afternoon. I would not want to see that. I would not want to see what would happen because the wind is going to be coming from the north, right? You would probably blow straight into the Capitol.
Ooh, that can't be good.
I mean, it's an efficient way of travel if it works out for you.
Sure.
If it doesn't, you're dead. So, anyway, this is a coaches will be talking today.
What are they going to be talking about? Who's talking? What are they talking about?
Mike Eckler, Addison Williams, and Terry Braden. They will be speaking. Each of them have very interesting jobs in front of them. The new guys. We're meeting all the new guys. And then Rule will talk next week. And then they'll take a week off for springy breaky. And then they will have spring ball starting like in 3 weeks. 2 weeks from when Matt Rule talks.
Wow. It's all happening so fast.
Yeah. So I can't wait for whatever clip goes viral from Mike Eckler today. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to tell stories about the Bo days, I don't know if we'll get, but that guy has seen a lot in college football. He's got a lot of things to say and a lot of stories to tell, but most of the action today will be surrounding, hey, how do you fix Nebraska's special teams? To which he'll say, I'll tell you how we're going to fix them. We're going to try. And, or some version of that. So I look forward to that.
I've done this a lot of places. I'm going to do it here too.
Yeah, but he'll say that. He'll say that with like a lot more juice.
Yeah.
It's not a bring your own juice today day in Lincoln. Mike Eckler will bring the juice for you. I hope Eck leads it off. And he's like, I'm back.
I'm thinking I'm back.
You go through the photo wire of Mike Eckler. If you're looking for good pictures of Mike Eckler to put on your podcasts or on your stories or whatever, you just type in Mike Eckler to the old wire there, Josh. It is difficult to find a picture where his mouth isn't ajar and screaming. There's even one, you know what? I'll pull it up right now. And I'll tweet it out. There is one, for whatever reason, he's standing next to, let me make sure I get this right. So type in Mike Eckler. He is standing within 6 to 10 inches face to face of Lee Corso.
I have seen this photo.
You have?
I am looking at it now.
Within 6 to 10 inches of Lee Corso. And he looks like he is verbally berating him. And Lee Corso looks like he's staring right through him. I'm going to go ahead.
Not so fast, my friend.
I'm going to tweet this out from Happer Show. What should I say along with it, Josh? Help me construct a tweet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll just say, look at this picture.
Look at this photograph.
Look at this photograph. Done. Maybe that would have been a good opportunity to do a caption contest, but it's too late. We've already sent it out at Happer Show. So that's what's going on today in Lincoln. We'll have we'll have some quotes as we go on throughout the show today. Elsewhere, Matt Rule, he's talking. He went on the Pat McAfee show late last week at the Combine, where he had this to say regarding TikToks. TikToks. He said Corey Campbell took them through the strength training coach took them through a TikTok workout Well, what's a TikTok workout? Quote, one of them did a TikTok in the facility. One of the players did a TikTok in the facility, which is a hard no. So our strength coach did a TikTok workout with the freshmen. They were pushing plates with their bios and all their cool stuff that they love to post. You want to sound like an old guy? Say that. But literally, I think what he's saying is they were pushing plates around the weight room, and attached to the plates, they had photographs, like screenshots of their TikTok bios, or their TikTok profile pictures or whatever it might be. They're pushing plates with their bios and all their cool stuff that they love to post. They pushed the plates with their bios. They were doing wall sits at the end, and every freshman had to do a 10-second TikTok dance while the rest of the guys did wall sits. Welcome to old school, Matt Rule.
Well, okay, so this is not what I thought it was.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was, hey, the guys were trying to do TikToks during the workout, and Matt Rule said, you got to stop with the TikToks.
Nobody's doing TikToks during the workout.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's doing TikToks during the workout. But people are doing TikToks in the facility. Matt Rule hates TikToks, which is interesting because he tries to be hip, and he's on social media and stuff like that. But dudes are doing TikToks inside the facility. That's a big no-no. So here's your punishment. You're going to do a TikTok workout. You like TikTok so much. Why don't you? We're going to take you through something that I like to call a TikTok workout.
Oh, you're smoking cigarettes, kid? Okay, you're going to smoke a whole carton of cigarettes.
Yeah, I got something for your lungs right here. Start running. See those stadium stairs all the way to the top.
Now, is our growing baby boy subject to these rules as well? He loves TikTok.
It's a great question. What will happen if Dylan does a TikTok?
Mm-hmm.
He's doing TikToks.
Oh, so many TikToks.
He's also going to
so many
various high
turtlenecks,
school basketball games.
So many chains.
Are you okay with Matt Rule laying down the law on the TikToks?
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is just because you hate TikTok and
yeah. I like work. Do the work.
That is true, Josh. If there's one thing that I've learned about you, you are a no-nonsense guy. You're like, look, you show up to work, and you're in the building, you're in the facility. What is all this other garbage that is going on? Why do we do it? Why are we doing TikToks? Why is there 100 different things going on?
Why are we talking?
Why are we talking to even that? Why are we talking to each other about things that aren't work? Josh, after he gets done with the show, he goes into his office, he closes his door, he orders a toasted Jimmy John's sandwich, and then he's a
anything
hermit.
From a chain.
You were texting me about work at 9:00 last night. Were you here? Why were you here?
There was work to do.
That 9:00?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I had to leave at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I didn't want to miss dinner with my family.
And then you came back to work?
Back to work.
And you loved it for those 3 or 4 hours that you were here because there was nobody here.
It was really nice.
You keep the door open at that point.
I did.
Alex and Lincoln writes in, is the TikTok ban aimed at baby boy Dylan? Now, here's the thing. You can do TikToks. You were free to do TikToks if you were on the Nebraska football team.
Good.
You are not free to do TikToks inside the building. The call is coming from inside the building. The TikTok is coming from inside the building. If they find out that you do a TikTok from one of their many fabulous pools and weight training areas and recovery zones or training tables, you will be punished with work by Matt Rule. Josh, you're all in on this.
He's going to make you better.
Josh, you're like, this is my favorite thing.
Yeah, Matt Rule is my guy.
Okay, awesome. Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
TikTok was my introduction to feeling old. My 2 years younger brother and some of my other friends loved it, and I found it dumb as hell. I said as much and realized that me and Bill Belichick had a handshake meme moment. This does seem to be, for whatever reason, TikTok seems to be a big line in the sand. You're either over the TikTok line or you're under the TikTok line.
Why is that?
I think I'm over the TikTok line. I'm okay with TikToks.
You're a TikToker.
I'm not a TikToker. but
You're on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok, right? I don't make TikToks.
You're a viewer of TikTok.
I'm a viewer of TikTok. I know many that are some are silent viewers of TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Lurkers.
That's basically me. I'm a TikTok lurker. What's going on? What are the kids talking about? What old song are they making edits to these days with football highlights in the background?
Here's the first time they listened to Nirvana. Put some headphones on, kids.
Yeah. Stibbs writes in.
Hi, Stibbs.
Jimmy John's toasted sandwiches are fire emoji, fire emoji.
Whoa, double fire emoji from Stibbs. That's high praise.
Yeah. So, Matt Rule, not good on TikToks. He's cracking down. And maybe the entire state will follow. Maybe this will embolden the entire state to not do TikTok.
If only there was a way that the TikTok app could go away, because it's detrimental to our youth.
It kind of is.
We were right there. Remember those 12 hours where it was dead?
Every generation, Josh. Let me stand up for this generation a little bit. Every generation has had a horrible time suck, right? Whether it's on your phone, whether it's what were the old people doing as a time suck?
Those
back
video
in the day?
games will rot your brain. And then it was.
What about the generation before that? Like before video games, what were they doing?
Rock and roll music is going to rot your brain.
Putting glitter on their stuff or putting like bedazzles on their stuff.
That hot glue gun, you're going to be sniffing those fumes. It's going to rot your brain.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess before that it was probably just doing drugs.
Yeah.
So I guess it's I guess it's positive. Better. It's positive that they're not just like doing drugs, although that's still available, still out there for them. There's just a lot of things at these kids' fingertips these days.
There is.
And this is definitely a generational time suck. Those 8 hours that TikTok was gone, it was great. It went away at like 11 o'clock one night, and I opened up the thing, and it was like, you can't use this anymore. I'm like, sweet.
I'm free.
It was like, wow. My screen time is way down as of this moment. Alex Lincoln writes in.
Hi, Alex.
Matt Rule handshake meme, the U.S. government banning TikTok.
And then quickly folding when they realized it would be good for PR to bring it back.
John emails in.
Hi, John.
How about Dylon is allowed to create one TikTok for every hour he spends studying Holgo's new playbook?
Do a TikTok about reading the playbook. And
but don't show off the playbook.
Well, no. Of course not.
Don't show off the playbook. That's secrets. I don't mind that. I don't think there's any concern about Dylan Raiola. While I find the TikToks to be cringe, it's okay. It's not for me. And I have no concerns about his work ethic. I have no concerns about his work ethic.
He's a teenager, right? Right? He's a teenager?
Close. Yeah.
He's a young, youthful person. He should be out having fun, enjoying his celebrity status. I don't begrudge him of that.
Platt Cat writes in.
It's going to go south if he doesn't win some games, though.
Maybe Fred Hoiberg should take note. Doesn't number 0, Connor Essegian, live on making TikToks inside of the Hoops facility? Yeah, he makes some TikToks.
What?
Oh, check out.
Oh,
Connor Essegian's TikToks.
That whole team needs to be going 0 dark 30 and focusing on quite literally nothing else but basketball. Don't go to class. Don't contact your parents. Don't contact your girlfriends, boyfriends, partners, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Basketball. Nothing but for the next month. Hopefully.
Yeah, a month. That should have started a long time ago.
It should have, Connor.
Should have started.
Great take.
A long time ago. It's gotten so bad for that team that I saw one of our friends maybe listening right now, Channel 3 Sean, formerly known as Channel 3 Sean, now just Sean.
Hey, Sean.
He was he saw the pictures of the players walking to the plane, and he was like, what's that body language look like? They're all looking at their phones. And it's like, I'm pretty sure that's just walking to the plane, but that's it. But it's gotten to that point with this team. Never really got the don't really get the sense right now that they enjoy each other a lot. That team.
They're not. This experience isn't bonding them together forever.
Yeah. No. You would hope that it would turn out that way. Like you go through wars together and you turn out better people on the other side. I'm not sure. Alex and Lincoln, poll question: are drugs worse than TikTok?
How do we feel about that? A little controversial. Drugs.
Yeah, that's okay. No, you don't have to do that poll question, but it's just a straw poll that is out there. Pedro writes in.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi, guys. My generation wasted their time by pickup baseball games, riding our Stingrays till the street lights came on. Pickup football games. Wow, what a waste of time.
Stickball.
When you think about it, it really was. Like I put a lot of time and effort into trying to perfect a batting stance of Ken Griffey Jr., of Gary Sheffield, of Barry Bonds. I put a lot of time and effort into that.
So much.
Did it do anything for me in the long run? Probably not. It got me some bombs in the backyard with a tennis ball and a plastic bat back in the day. But did it really get me anything? No. Those home runs in my backyard were the equivalent to 100,000 views on TikTok. 100,000 views. 50 yards.
Nothing to be proud of, Russ.
Nothing to be proud of. That's exactly right. Charles writes in.
Hi, Charles.
This TikTok angst is classic olds mindset. Yeah, there's definitely some TikTok angst for Matt Rule.
I think that's fair. I'm willing to admit
I get him.
It's an old man take.
I'm very cool with him drawing the line of like, hey, not in here. You go do your TikToks outside.
Dylan would love to do a TikTok with you
because
later.
Like, how does it look, right? You just got this, $200 million facility and you got the best stuff and your reaction is to do a TikTok.
You want to brag. You want to brag about it to everyone. That's cool.
Like it's I don't know. It's just like not the best use of the building to do TikToks.
Also,
they have the sleep pods. Go take a nap in one of the sleep pods and don't record it. Don't put it on TikTok.
Also, could I just say the thing I'm sure many people are yelling at their radios right now?
What?
You're not the volleyball team.
Yeah. The volleyball team does TikToks.
They do.
They do them in the facility. They do them in
games.
practice. They do them whenever they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Double standard.
Slightly.
They win national championships.
Yeah, they're a little more competitive.
All right. Before we take a break here and talk to AB, some news from Kansas City.
Good news.
The Z-Man has arrived to Kauffman Stadium. If you're not familiar with the Z-Man from Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, let me describe it to you.
Please.
There is brisket topped with cheese, topped with onion rings, topped with barbecue sauce, and you slam it all together, and it's one delicious thing. It is one of the quintessential barbecue items in a town known for barbecue. And now it is coming to Kauffman Stadium, available for purchase for probably about $17.95.
Sounds about right. Unfortunately,
because I think it's probably like $13-$14 at the restaurant.
Oh,
I would imagine maybe you're gearing up. Maybe it's close to 20.
We can find this out, can't we?
The price it'll be at the stadium, or the price it is at Joe's.
Joe's. You want a regular or a jumbo, Connor?
I want a jumbo.
Jumbo's $14.29.
What's a regular? $12.95. $12.29.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so you scale that up a little bit for mass production at Kauffman Stadium. Yeah, we're going to be inching real close to $20, but that's okay. I saw the comments to this, and it was like, great. I bet the rich people will have fun with that sandwich because currently I have to spend my entire paycheck on parking and a ticket. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Why can't we just take a good thing as a good thing, right? More food items, more delicious food items available to you at a baseball game, but yet we take it all the way back to, well, remember it costs $30 to park and $50 to get in the baseball game. And so what am I going to do? And by the way, I have a family of 6. And so it costs $800 now to go to one single baseball game in the summer.
First of all, wrap it up. Second of all, go to Joe's restaurant in Kansas City where it's $14 and probably better than the one at the K.
You could save a couple bucks. Save a couple
Maybe
bucks
you and your wife go on a date instead of bringing the 4 children that you have in this hypothetical family of 6.
So less children is your response to that, Josh? Less children.
I'm saying personal accountability. Vote for me.
Look at that, Josh. He's always campaigning for something.
It's campaign season.
All right. So any other thoughts on here and what other generations were doing as generational time sucks? Stibbs. Me ramping the little tyke bike we still had from my childhood into a pile of scooters in the middle of my street when I was 12 was easily worth a couple billion views. Think about the things that we could have gotten 1 million views for on TikTok that we did as children.
Oh my God. My friends, we thought we were like,
yeah,
we're going to be Jackass.
Dude,
like, let's do Jackass.
We would go out into the forest and build forts, and they were like structurally sound, you know? There was like a whole system of forts all across the tree line.
Intricate layers.
Yeah, there was fights and there was spears, and I don't know how nobody died. Nobody or got eaten by some wild animal or something like that, but yep, there was that piece of it. Anything went in the forest, that's for sure. I would take my bike out to my driveway like it was a car and start washing it. You know?
I did that.
I love doing that.
I did that.
I got to wash my bike today. One time I tried to wash my Game Boy and I broke it.
No.
Yeah. I was like, I got to put this in the sink. I got to wash it. I was really obsessed with washing stuff. I wanted to wash stuff. I just wanted it all to be clean. And one day I put my Game Boy in the sink and my mom or dad was like, you can't do that. It'll break. And it did.
Oh, no. Did you get another one?
I don't know. Okay. That might have been it. I might have graduated the N64 at that point. Or Duck Hunter.
Ooh, in high school, in the middle of the night, we would walk around the neighborhood and spear people's trash cans.
Absolutely.
They were out on the curb.
Of course.
We speared them.
You tackle them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like full bore, like 3-point stance, run. And
did you pick up the trash cans? Probably not.
Not all the time.
Did you pick up the trash that fell out of the trash can?
Not all the time.
Nope. Destruction, that plays well on TikTok.
Yeah.
Plays well on TikTok. Would have been probably about 150,000 right there.
Putting mini muffins in people's door handles.
275,000. You're going to hang on to that.
Hang on to that.
Yeah. Would have been huge on TikTok back in the day. Now the kids just dance.
Look at me.
All right. Allan Bell.
Look at my turtleneck. Look at my chain.
I wonder if Allan Bell has any takes on TikTok.
I'll bet he does.
I bet he does. By the way, a couple more from Sam here. How can I afford this entree at Kauffman Stadium while having the mandatory 3 to 4 stadium beers? So if you're talking about $20, let's just say $20 for a Z-Man, and then 13 to 14 each for the stadium beers. Yeah, we're talking about $40 worth of beer, $20 worth of Z-Man, parking tickets. I mean, you're going over $100 with these. That's for sure. But you're going to have to eat. You might as well eat something good. And it costs like $6 more than a chicken tender basket from Aramark.
Don't get the chicken tender basket. Be an adult.
Oh. Also, Sam writes in.
Hi, Sam.
Does your Instagram show you a ton of power washing videos now? They're very therapeutic. It does. They try to serve me power washing videos all the time. Where they take the rugs. They take the rugs and they spray the rugs and all the dirt just comes flying out of the rugs. I love those.
Bet you didn't know how dirty your rug was at home.
That's 150,000 views right there on TikTok.
Boom.
And there's and half the screen is that, and the other half is some guy playing Subway Surfer. What is going on? I have no idea. Allan Bell's next on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3, on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we're joined now on the hotline by our good friend Allan Bell. Driving the line. AB, hello. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you?
Oh, doing fantastic. Always good to talk to you. Feels like a good car wash day again.
I was just going to ask Josh, what are your spidey senses tingling? Is he getting the car wash today?
I don't know. I feel like our weather today is going to be over there in 24 to 48 hours, so it feels like a bad day for a car wash.
Ooh, y'all got some bad weather over there?
Well, we're going to get a flash blizzard here coming tonight before it returns to spring again this weekend.
Oh, there you go. Nice flash blizzard.
Yeah, it happens from time to time. They're saying basically hurricane force winds for for an extended period of time this evening into tomorrow, and then that's it. And then it's springtime.
All right. Well, we got any baseball? Is it blowing out? We're gonna hit some home runs, hit some overs.
The baseball has been banged tonight. However, if there was a baseball game in Lincoln tomorrow, which there is no longer, the wind would have been blowing 60 miles an hour out directly to right field. So that I would have sent you a text. I would have been like, you got to check this out. Any left-handed batter you could find or any run total that you could find, you got to hammer it right now.
60 miles an hour blowing out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, so it's funny that we think about like hitting, obviously, in that, but like the pitcher has to throw facing 60 miles an hour wind.
That's right.
Like, oh my goodness.
It's time to learn a knuckleball, and just go from there.
Yeah, we brought in Tim Wakefield. It's time to get this thing going.
Hey, so we were just talking about TikTok for like a way too long of a period of time. When you were a kid, what did you do that, looking back on it now, is the biggest waste of time? What was your time suck for when Allan Bell was a child?
Oh man, AOL Instant Messenger.
Good one.
Like, yeah. AIM was solid. And then going along with that, before we, learned to download songs on, Kazaa and all that, like doing it overnight, would you sit there and try to download one song, and it took 8 hours to do it? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I would sit there and just watch it download on LimeWire, That would be a time waster, that's for sure. In my meantime, I would update my my MySpace profile and figure out what my cool away message was going to be for when I had to go play like a 6th grade baseball game or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I got all these things going on. You know what's funny about that, real quick? Like, if you go back to the original days of Twitter, and I'm talking about like the first year of Twitter, that's what people used it as, is like a status update. So if you could find anyone's Twitter from like, I don't know when it came out, 2010, I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
You'll see you'll see like Joe Rogan tweet, it'll say at the grocery store. And you're like,
well, the whole thing was like, it was wasn't it connected to the thing where you like check in at locations? What was that called? Foursquare. You would like, I am at NRG Media at 50th and Dodge right now, and it would just be that every day, Monday through Friday.
I am at gas station. Yeah, like it would do it.
That's probably for the best that's not there anymore for privacy purposes.
Yeah.
Probably good.
That saved a lot of trouble. It really did.
How was the weekend? College baseball is heating up. By the way, there is like a small, I don't know what it is, but there's like a small pocket of people around here. The College World Series probably has something to do with it, who are like really into the early season college baseball stuff too. That I have found. So I've tried to point them in your direction for all things college baseball in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Look, and anybody, it's awesome that's happening, because it's going to make betting the sport better for everybody, right? Look, it's hard. If anybody's doing it for the first time, the college baseball season is like 6 seasons in one, right? And we're in number one, where it's like non-conference games and tournaments, and there's not a lot to be had betting wise. You got to parlay a lot of money lines. But yeah, like I'm just glad that more people are getting involved because it's such a fun sport to bet. I mean, literally anything can happen at any moment, you know. But yeah, we're almost out. I mean, conference play starts in what, a week and a half, something like that. So yeah, we're almost there, and that's when it gets really nice because you don't have to play a bunch of parlays. You can just play teams straight up. It's been good so far, man. You know, we're seeing some teams, you know, that are really stepping up. North Carolina looks to be just unbeatable, man. This game is fantastic. Texas A&M, they're brutal. Like they're you know, for a team that started off number 1 in the country, I mean, they're finding themselves in a tough spot. But it's great, man. I love it. Like it's my favorite sport.
When you look at college basketball right now, we're inching closer and closer to the tournament, but we also have something very, very fun that is, you know, basically firing up right now. These small conference tournaments, which are fantastic every year, and then the big ones, of course, will be going next week. Conference tournaments compared to regular season, compared to the NCAA tournament, very, very different. How do you separate between, you know, betting on like a normal game and looking for who's going to make a run in a conference tournament or an NCAA tournament?
Yeah, a lot of it, you know, comes down to, you know, finding teams that have to win, right? And with that, man, is defense. A lot, especially with these smaller, you know, conference teams. They've got coaches that are usually pretty good, and they've got players, you know, that have been there, right, for, you know, their juniors and seniors and whatnot. So, yeah, man, like, you're going to see totals in games. The books will keep the numbers the same just to kind of entice you to bet the over because the public bets overs.
Yep.
And they know that. So betting, if you're somebody who you know, bets unders, I mean, this is your time to shine.
It might
you know
be.
what I mean? So yeah, absolutely, man. And then, you know, in the big conference tournament, you know, again, I mean, the same philosophy of, you know, teams that need to win multiple games to get in, and then teams that are looking to, you know, get a 1 seed. I mean, you can find value there, but be careful. You know what I mean? Like, there's some teams that, like, we're watching Duke, who's just there's not a spread big enough that you could give Duke. They've covered like 23.5 point spreads, like 4 games in a row. But if they get that 1 seed locked up, how much are they really going to care, you know, about the conference tournament? So
that's true.
Be careful with those.
Yeah. And then the NCAA tournament's obviously a little bit different. I saw you had I was watching Kansas and Houston last night. I saw you had the Kansas-Houston over, and I was thinking, like, I don't know how Kansas is going to score in this game just with the way that Houston basketball plays. I mean, it is, as we're starting to, you know, kind of hone in on the teams that we like or that could make a run in March Madness, like Houston. I don't want to play. I don't want my team anywhere near Houston. I'll tell you that in the NCAA tournament right now.
Not at all. No, you're exactly right. Because, like, I mean, look, man, like, I know it's been a tough season for Kansas, but, like, they played good last night. Houston's just that good. And the problem with Houston as well is, like, number one, obviously the defense, which you're just talking about. But then, like, Houston
they can shoot.
Go down and oh my God, they can fire threes on you too, and you're like, dude, what do I do with this? And Kansas is just Houston is just a brutal team to face. I'm with you, man. Like Houston, Duke, you know, we're going to see Auburn tonight. They've got themselves a nice test, but you know, these teams, man, like they are just ready to go. And everybody on Auburn, you know, is like 37 with a mortgage, you know, so like they're like the oldest team that I've ever seen. But and I mean that in a good way. Like you got grown men out there playing. Yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't want my team anywhere near Houston.
Big move in the NFL this week with Debo going to, or last week, I guess, with Debo going to the Commanders. Pick a side, either side. I mean, obviously, the Commanders beefing up around Jaden Daniels is very fascinating, and then trying to continue their upward trajectory in that division. But then you also have the 49ers storyline piece of this too, where, you know, kind of piece by piece, it gets older, it wilts away. Like, where does your mind go to first when you think about that move and what happens next for those teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because, you know, number one, I mean, you know, with Debo, you know, it was a weird year last year, man. Like there were some flare-ups that the 49ers don't put up with. So I don't want to put it all on that and make it a negative. it kind of all worked out to where San Francisco was like, look, we've got to find money. You know what I mean? Like they've invested so much in their lines, and rightfully so. They got to pay Brock Purdy. So that part makes sense, right? For Washington, like I think a breath of fresh air and a new team for Debo is going to be great, and especially with somebody like Dan Quinn. He's getting backwards hat Dan Quinn, baby. Like,
oh yeah,
it's going to be. Oh yeah, dude, it's going to be like I think it's going to work for all sides. Now, the next part that you brought up, windows in the NFL, man, they're tough, and especially when you've had really good teams. I mean, look at the Eagles; like they're already, cutting. Important names because you're going to have guys that get picked off in free agency. You're going to have people that you have to pay, quarterbacks, wide receivers, right? So the NFL is the ultimate, like it is perfectly built for parity. You know what I mean? Like it's the full cycle. So these teams that have been good for a while, the 49ers being one of them, credit to them for the accounting work that they've done. But man, these windows are short.
It's hard.
You know who's looking at it is Buffalo. Like they're looking at it too. We need to go get one now.
No doubt. Gotta make the most of it while you have the opportunity to. All right, AB. Enjoy the rest of your week, my friend. We'll let you go. Can't wait for March basketball to start firing up, and then some good old college baseball as well. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. See you, buddy. Y'all be good. Thank you.
That is Allan Bell. You can find his stuff at Allan G. Bell on Twitter. He's got the full slate of picks tracking, and then a podcast full of daily picks every single day. Just watch or listen to the podcast driving the line. He's driving it all right.
Hell yeah.
Indeed. Mike Eckler on Matt Rule, quote, I've only been here a few weeks, but this man may be the best leader I've seen around.
Oh, put it right in my veins. Let's go.
Says he's been taking notes left and right since he got here. Here's another one. Quote, I'm a blue collar guy. We'll talk with our pads. Football coaches love talking with their pads.
You win that press conference, Mike.
Yeah. Stop talking about other stuff. Talk with your pads. Don't talk with your TikToks. Talk with your pads. He's excited to be back, and he is. Now, here's the deal. He has the lowest bar on the team to be able to jump over as well. He's just got to take one little hippity hop, and Nebraska's automatically better on special teams.
That's right. Just don't suck out loud.
It's a big variable as to how Nebraska's going to be. Like, if you're generally thinking about it as offense, defense, special teams, offense gets better. How much, that'll tell you a part of the story. Defense gets either static or worse. How much worse, that's going to tell you a part of the story. Special teams going from 0 to however high it goes. I mean, would it shock you at the end of the year if you're like, oh, Nebraska had like a top 30 special teams unit? It wouldn't. I think you could flip that pretty easily because it's not necessarily about personnel. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. It's a big variable in the conversation. So we'll stay tuned to the quotes coming out of Lincoln now and this afternoon. All right, we'll be back. Josh has the odd news when we return on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, analysis, and commentary in a clean, concise, and disease-free way.
See there?
What a relief. Thank God.
Wonderful. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, Josh.
Connor.
Let's get weird.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's the odd news, right?
This is one of the weirder things we do, yeah. I mean, it's odd news with Odd Son.
Love it.
Yeah. There's a growing feud in the National Football League. Insiders Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport.
Okay, so I saw
beefing.
I saw just the trail remnants of this over the weekend. There's something about a Starbucks.
Yes, there is.
All right.
The biggest story coming out of last week's scouting combine had nothing to do with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, but Jordan Schultz and Ian Rappaport. The two NFL insiders were involved in a confrontation at a downtown Indianapolis Starbucks.
Classic.
Which seemed to stem, classic white people move, which seemed to stem over conflicting reports on the Raiders' reported pursuit of Matt Stafford, which, as we know, it was for naught because the Rams re-signed him. The days since have become a source of content for Schultz and Rappaport's colleagues inside the NBA, as discussed it, even Ian himself. And on Monday, Jordan broke his silence, addressing the altercation with 670 The Score's Layla Ramey. I think what happened between Ian and I probably had been brewing for quite some time, and I just felt like I needed to say what I said and make it clear.
What did he say?
I don't know.
God, this is the worst feud I've ever heard.
It is, isn't it? Kind of why I pulled the story.
Yeah. This is we did something at a Starbucks.
Schultz didn't dive into specifics, including the reported rumor, and this is probably something you've caught wind of since the feud, that Ian Rappaport has offered sources Uber stock in exchange for scoops. Seems unlikely, but
offered sources what?
Uber stock of the company Uber.
Okay.
In exchange for scoops. Hey, Robert Kraft, I know you're a billionaire. But if you want some Uber stock,
is this a talking point?
That is an allegation buried in the feud here somewhere.
That's what Ian Rappaport does.
That's what Jordan says. Allegedly,
crab cakes in football.
That's what. Yeah.
That's what Ian Rappaport does. Uber stocks for scoops.
Who would win in a fight?
Ian Rappaport or Jordan Schultz?
Yeah.
I have no idea what Jordan Schultz is. Who's he work for?
Let's take a look. Jordan Schultz, NFL. Google. Images.
I got nothing.
He's got a lot of teeth.
Who's he work for?
Fox. A lot of photos of him on the herd.
Yeah, this is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
I imagine they probably stood in the Starbucks line and texted each other how much they hated each other.
I hate you. Well, I'm right behind you, jackass.
Yeah.
An Oklahoma toddler, Connor, pay attention to this.
Okay.
Called 911.
Yeah.
And
classic.
Well, yeah. What the toddler ask for? Emergency donuts.
Mm-hmm.
And local police sprang into action to deliver. No jokes, people. The Moore Police Department shared the audio of a 911 call involving a toddler who was allowed to play with an old cell phone and discovered it still had emergency calling enabled on it.
Mm-hmm.
The boy requested emergency donuts before telling the dispatcher to have a good day.
So 911 dispatcher answers the phone. 911, what's your emergency? And the kid says donuts.
I need some emergency donuts. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
I need some donuts. I need some donuts.
Old cell phones may be unable to use high-speed data networks, take photos, or play music, but they can still call 911 in an emergency. The department said as long as an old cell phone is functional, it can be used in an emergency.
Yeah.
And the police did bring him some snacks from Dunkin'.
Oh, they did.
They did.
It's a heartwarming story.
They were there anyway. No jokes.
Did you ever call? Did you ever accidentally call 911 as a kid, or
no?
Or did you call 911 purposefully to say that mommy was being mean to me?
No, my mother is a saint.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
I don't think I ever. I can't recall an instance when I did either. It was pretty well ingrained in my head. Like, don't call 911 unless it's real.
Do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I never called 911. Asked for donuts.
Finally, we go all the way to India for our last story.
Okay.
A man has been awarded more than $200 in compensation after
Class action lawsuit?
No, solo. After he sued a movie theater chain for showing too many commercials before a film.
And
he won.
Of course.
This man filed suit with the Bangalore District Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. It's a catchy title. After he attended a December 26, 2023 screening at a local multiplex. His complaint states that the movie was scheduled to end at 6:30, but did not end until 7 because there were 2 public service announcements and 17 commercials before the start of the film.
Mm-hmm.
The plaintiff said the movie's delayed ending caused him to miss a scheduled work call. His suit sought $547 in damages, as well as $57 for mental agony and $115 for legal costs. Now, he obviously didn't get all of that.
There was a settlement.
There was $230 in damages and $92 for legal costs. What he got.
Well, he got something out of it.
They said 25 to 30 minutes is a considerable amount of time to sit idle in a theater and watch unnecessary ads. People with tight schedules do not have time to waste.
You truly can sue for anything.
Anything. Just if you can dream it, they can do it.
Yeah.
All billable hours, right? Right, lawyers?
Yeah,
listening to the show?
you're paying the lawyers.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I don't care.
Get Saul Goodman.
He's working for you.
He'll get you right.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever avenue you want to take. Wow.
Now, this isn't like trailers, or I love when Greg Marcus comes out and says hi to me. I love seeing Greg and his dad, and
yeah, I guess I just don't mind previews as much as
now these were straight up commercials.
Yeah, like commercials, and 17 of them is pretty wild.
17 is excessive.
It's excessive.
You give me one Samsung commercial before you start showing the trailers, fine. And
do you think that was a mistake, or is he claiming, or did he claim it was a mistake?
I think he claimed, hey, this is the way you do business, and this is bad business on your part.
Right. So hopefully, I mean, maybe he wasn't actually looking for money. Maybe he was just looking for a change in the way that movie theater company does business.
It seems like it.
Hopefully he got it.
Well,
or maybe they'll roll the dice out there and see if anybody else sues him for $250.
I've got an idea.
Yeah. Just the previews just never, the previews and the commercials just never bother me that much.
Greg Marcus is hanging out with that kid who works at Twin Creek in Bellevue now.
Everybody uses their phones during the previews anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody uses their phones during the actual movies now these days anyway. Just pull your phone out.
And turn your watch off or dim it, whatever.
Yep. Put a sleeve over it, something like that.
Idiots.
Josh gets triggered in the movie theaters.
Well, let's bring a blanket too.
Yeah. See, I'm out on that too. You don't need a blanket. This is not your bed.
Yeah.
All right. This is not your couch. We're all here to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out you could actually just get the movie that you're probably watching in theater streamed straight to your house for $20.
If you want to wait.
Yeah.
We'll wait 17 days.
Yeah, it's not going to take very long.
No.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
So you don't need to bring especially nowadays, you definitely don't need to bring a blanket to the movie theater. All right, Josh, thanks.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. We're coming back for the noon hour. We'll talk about the hoops games tonight. College basketball reaction, overreaction is headed your way. And of course, we'll stay in tap with the many quotes from Mike Eckler, whose press conference is, I believe, now over.
That was cool.
But has gone over 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems like plenty of time for the special teams coordinator to talk.
Be sifting through that one a little bit later on tonight. All right, back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right. Horrible idea alert from the Atlantic Coast Conference.
ACC.
Yes, the ACC. Garbage basketball conference. Less garbage football conference. Still garbage. Anyway, yesterday, you may have heard the news that Florida State, Clemson are expected to reach a settlement with the ACC. They will vote today, and I believe that has been Pete tweeted and confirmed. An agreement that would ultimately result in the settlement of 4 ongoing lawsuits between the schools and the ACC and the new revenue distribution strategy that would solidify the conference's membership for the near future. Before I don't want to bore you too much. A lot of words. People hear revenue sharing, revenue distribution. They're like, geez, give me a break. But I wanted to point this out because once again, this is a horrible idea. According to the sources from Mr. Pete Tweets, the settlement includes 2 key objectives. 1, establishing a new revenue distribution model based on viewership and a change in the financial penalties for exiting the league's grant of rights before the conclusion of its deal in 2036.
Okay.
Part 2, I don't care about. Doesn't matter to me. Part 1 is a disaster. Josh, where is he? Give me Eric Collins. Where is he?
Oh, no! Disaster!
This new revenue distribution model, or brand initiative, is based on a 5-year rolling average of TV ratings through some logistics of this formula, can't read. Some logistics of this formula remain tricky, including how to properly average games on the unrated ACC network or other subscription channels.
There's an unrated ACC network?
ACC network, unrated.
Hell yeah.
The brand initiative will be funded through a split in the league's TV revenue, with 40% distributed evenly among the 14 longstanding members and 60% going toward the brand initiative and distributed based on TV ratings.
Sounds terrible.
This, Josh, as I've been describing to people for the last, several years, this is the big red button. You know the big red button?
Oh, it is.
This is the big red button. Please, God, do not tell Ohio State or Alabama or some major power broker in college football. Do not tell them that you can do this. This is horrible. Because what's going to happen? Ohio State looks at this and they say, hold on now.
You're doing what?
You just got done suing the league with the potential, with the idea to leave it. And then the settlement that you agreed upon with the league is that you get unevenly slanted payouts from the league based on TV viewership. This is Ohio State's dream. This is their dream. Don't you think Ohio State is looking at the Big Ten and they're like, okay, our TV revenue is great. We love having all the money. And there's 18 teams in this stupid conference right now. But what's Rutgers doing to help out the TV ratings?
Who's tuning in for Rutgers?
Unless they're playing us, right? Unless they're playing Ohio State, they don't get jack for TV ratings. What's a game between Purdue and Wisconsin getting the conference from a TV rating standpoint? I mean, a little bit, obviously, but nothing compared to every week Gus Johnson saying, I'm Gus Johnson, doing Big Noon Kickoff, because it's Ohio State every single week. If you decided which school is worth the most based on TV ratings, Ohio State and Michigan would be far and away the highest. And then there'd be a gap, and then there'd be, some of the other Penn State's probably, I guess, in that top group as well. Nebraska's probably relatively high up there. USC is pretty high up there, right? There's the brands, there's the blue bloods that people just gravitate toward, and they have larger alumni bases and larger fan bases around the country because of their various runs of success throughout the last 50, 60 years, whatever. It's part of college football. It's ingrained in the DNA of it. Nebraska is one of those schools.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple questions.
And then you look at Rutgers and you're like, what have you done for us?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
nothing.
This is horrendous news. Horrendous news for everyone. I really hope nobody else knows about this.
Is this only ACC versus ACC games that we're taking into account, or
how I read it? So listen to this. Top earners are expected to net an additional $15 million or more than they were previously, than when the money was evenly distributed throughout the conference. While some schools at the bottom of the league will net a reduction in annual payout of up to $7 million annually. An acceptable loss, according to several administrators, at schools likely to be impacted in exchange for some near-term stability. So basically, the schools at the bottom of the conference is like, yeah, we need Florida State and Clemson in our conference, so whatever. Let them run amok on this thing. That's fine. We'll take the hit, and you could give them whatever favors you want. And what they did, in turn, was completely tilt the revenue payout scale from the conference, which sets an absolutely horrendous precedent for the rest of the conferences in the country. Once again, this is the doomsday button. This is when doomsday happens. When Ohio State wakes up and they realize, oh my God, why are we making $60 million and Rutgers is also making $60 million? We should be making 90 and they should be making 30.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you actually did the brand valuation of all those schools and you attach it to TV dollars, that's basically what you would find. And what happens as a result of that is, number one, the power structure begins to be more heavily tilted in the favor of those schools. And it truly then becomes it's already an every conference for itself situation. Then it becomes an interconference every man for itself, every man for themselves.
That's not the way you want to be working.
I don't know what if you're at the bottom. If you're Virginia Tech, great one, thank you. Or Virginia, you're at the bottom of the ACC in terms of what you're valued at.
Wake Forest
from the conference. Wake Forest, great one, thank you. Keep naming bad ACC schools. This is perfect. If you're one of those schools, there's nothing you could do about it. Just like if you are one of the conferences at the negotiating table for the new playoff that's not the Big Ten and the SEC, and the Big Ten and SEC come in here and they walk in here with their hands on their hips and they say, yes, we'd like 4 automatic berths, please.
We were going to have 4 anyway, but we'd like it in writing.
We'd like it to be automatic this time. And the other conferences are just like, all right, whatever. Get these guys what they want. Let's just not press the big red button on the sport automatically. But what you're doing by going along with this is, in essence, pressing the big red button. And it's not good.
So
it's not good, Josh.
A fact, and then some more questions. The highest rated game featuring an ACC team this year, Clemson, Texas, CFP first round. Followed very, 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 I mean very closely behind Georgia Tech, Georgia, went like 100 overtimes, 8.47 million viewers, 25th. That was the 25th highest game rated game of the year.
Give me the first ACC on ACC. Do you have it?
I don't have it in. I mean, I'm still scrolling through the list. Kenneth asked if Notre Dame is included in these ACC payout conversations as it relates to viewership.
Not that I could see.
Okay.
I mean, they're on their own TV deal.
Sure.
So I don't think so.
They wouldn't be part of it.
Yeah.
It's also hard to remember who's in what conference as I look at this list.
Give me an example. SMU's in the ACC. People forget.
I did. ACC championship was the 45th highest rated game of the year at 6 million.
Yeah.
I did.
But like, I would imagine if you go down the ACC versus ACC only,
the
Clemson and Florida State, maybe not so much Florida State this year, but the Clemson and Florida State games, they are going to populate probably like 10 of the top 15.
I have found it. I believe it to be the 56th highest rated game of the year. 5 million people watched Florida State, Georgia Tech.
There you go.
Was that the Ireland
That
game?
was the Ireland game.
When we still thought Florida State was worth a damn.
And it involved Florida State, right? Like they that's one of the brands of the conference. And so they had to keep him in and they had to make him happy. And they said, all right, fine.
You want more money?
Make us really happy. We want to be very happy. And they're like, okay.
RNG Schwartzwielder commenting on YouTube.
Hi.
I can see it being an issue, but if you start cutting too many quote-unquote undesirables, you also start cutting viewer markets. I could be wrong, but I don't see it being a common thing. ACC contract is junk
It is
compared
true.
to the Big Ten and SEC.
It is true, RNG Schwartzwielder, that they had to – it's a garbage contract, and they have to make do with the bones of what they have. And they have to prevent Florida State and Clemson from leaving the conference, and this is the way to do so. But once again, so like Omaha writes in, says, the Big Ten is stronger together. Ohio State won't do this. Okay, so that has always been Ohio State's line. That has always been it. But once again, when you open up the door to just seeing this, saying, well, if they're getting slanted in their favor, if their conference is slanting things in the favor of the teams who are just trying to sue it to leave it. But the point being, we are taking a conference revenue distribution scale and we are slanting it toward the highest revenue programs, aka the teams that get the most viewership numbers. Like there's nothing stopping Ohio State from going to the Big Ten and being like, hey, look, like we're carrying the torch for you all. We're carrying all the weight on our shoulders. You got to help us out a little bit. We love being here, but please help us out. And that is, in essence, kind of what happened here with this situation. It wasn't so much of we really like being here, but they got their way. And it's obvious. Like, it's obvious to everybody. Yes, Florida State and Clemson are worth more to the ACC than basically any of the other teams combined. That includes like North Carolina basketball, like all that stuff. Like, it doesn't matter. Ohio State and Michigan are worth more to the Big Ten. It's the most viewed game almost in college football every single year. It's worth more to keep them than it is to lose, the Rutgers of the world or whatever it might be. It's just a bad precedent. That's all. That's why I don't know if this will become commonplace, but it's a bad precedent, and it is, oh no, disaster.
Oh no! Disaster!
What a bad idea.
What a bad idea. Should have kept that part in there. Sorry, Eric Collins.
Oh no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
Thank you.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness.
That's exactly right.
Oh my goodness. The brand initiative,
emphasis on brand,
is expected to begin for this upcoming fiscal year.
Meanwhile, SMU's at these meetings going, hey,
you guys are getting
just
paid
happy
for
to be
this?
here. Exactly.
There's a little kid who got his nuts bit by a spider.
You guys are getting paid.
You guys are getting paid for this? Well, yeah, isn't that SMU's deal? They were like, we just like to be here.
We want to be here so bad. We'll be here for free for, I think
it's a long time.
Is it like 3 years, 5 years, something like that? It's yeah.
So we'll see if anything comes as a result of that. I certainly hope that this story just gets covered up, throw a blanket on top of it and move it away.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. That's for sure. Breaking news from the NFL, Josh.
Breaking news from the NFL?
Yes.
Ian Rappaport and Jordan Schultz have duked it out at a Raising Cane's?
No.
Oh.
Devontae Adams has been released.
Release.
Yep. Goodbye. Released.
Now, are he and Brett Favre going to get like a Conestoga wagon together and find a new home?
Brett Favre? You mean Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, did I say Brett Favre?
Did you say Brett? I thought you said Brett Favre.
Well, I mean, they're the same person nowadays.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But yes, Aaron Rodgers is what I meant to say.
I would hope that Devontae Adams
has learned his lesson.
Has probably been like, you know what? There's something about this guy that just
you're a bad friend, Aaron.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't do this anymore.
I love you, guy, but you're a bad friend.
Yeah, you've led me to some horrible, horrible places. We had a great time in Green Bay. After that, it's been horrible.
I got a Taco Bell at my house. Why am I allowing you to make my work decisions for me?
Oh boy. Text from the 308.
Hi, 308.
Georgia Tech was the highest rated on TV last year, but it's a 5-year rolling average. Right.
Yeah.
Which anytime you do the math on the 5-year rolling average, you're going to get, it's going to come up Clemson and Florida State. Assuming Florida State doesn't stay down for as long as, for long.
The second highest rated ACC conference game was Boston College, Florida State.
Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
That was exclusive TV window, right? I believe that was Labor Day or the Sunday before Labor Day. Okay. So, yes. Just make sure nobody else hears about this. That's all I got to say. And probably, I bet you're thinking probably like as a Nebraska fans, like what does this really matter to us? Because
Nebraska's a big brand.
Yeah, like we're a part of this, right? And I think so. At the end of the day, like if you are separating the high revenue earners from the low revenue, whatever, the high TV viewership numbers from the low TV viewership numbers, if that's really what the metric is that we're going to use to determine your value going forward, which frankly, it has been and it is. Nebraska's okay there. Even though they've been ass for a decade now, I think, you look at it and you see potential.
I mean, you can still look at an idea and go, yeah, it'll benefit us, but it's bad for the collective as a whole.
Yeah,
right?
but everybody's looking out for themselves, Josh. Everybody's out for number one these days.
Maybe that's the problem, Connor.
I would say so. I think we've gotten to the bottom of this. Yes.
Togetherness. Vote for me.
All right, we're back after this with a little bit of college basketball reaction, overreaction.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll talk about our local hoops teams and the plights that they have tonight coming up at after that at about 12:40. So in about 20 minutes. All right, back with college basketball reaction, overreaction next on 1620 The Zone. But I do have a reminder for you all that we at 1620 The Zone are teaming up with Site One Brewing for the half-off deal this week. How about that? Site One Brewing, local brewery that creates a unique experience within their tap house where you can explore a variety of ever-changing, locally crafted beers. And you know what? I would even add to that, Josh, they are good. They are not good. They are good. Wow. Good beers. 25th and Farnham is Site One Brewing. And this week's Zone deal, of course, you get $50 in vouchers for just $25. On sale Friday at 9. Also, you could listen to Unsportsmanlike Conduct all week for your chance at $50 in gift vouchers for $0. So,
wow.
Listen to the station or go to 1620thezone.com at Friday at 9 for this week's Zone deal to Site One Brewing.
Free beer.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We thought we would awaken the writers. I don't think we put them to use last week, Josh.
I don't think we did either. I was wondering.
What are they cooking? What are they up to?
Well, if you look at Zone TV right now, you can see the live stream into our writers' room.
Oh, Cool Ranch Doritos,
all over the
pizza, and
place.
bongs.
Bongs. And a smoky haze filters the room.
What? Okay, hold on. What actual table read is this for? Oh, this is SNL.
I believe so, yeah, because I see Kyle Mooney on the right-hand side next to Kate McKinnon.
I see Kate McKinnon, yeah. Maybe Jay Farrow. That lady, I don't know her name. Vanessa Bayer. Didn't Nick pick Vanessa Bayer in his draft?
He did. He lost that draft so bad.
I know. Like badly.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So that's cool. Wow. Didn't know that we get a look into the writer's room these days. So they're all there. And there's a lot of them. Apparently there's 30 plus people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Doritos and bongs, Josh.
It is. Might explain these questions after you hear them.
So they've changed from writing comedy sketches now to college basketball questions
for a Midwest sports talk radio show.
Yeah, that's right. All right, what have they cooked up for us here?
All right, guys, as your job's on the line. This is the year for the remaining old guard.
The remaining old guard in college basketball, right? We have let go of Coach K, Jim Boeheim, Jay Wright. You know, a lot of the
God, he looked good in a suit.
Successful. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call him old guard, but he won national championships, right? There's not very many coaches around who have national championships. So let's think about some of the old guard. How about Rick Pitino?
Oh, he broke out the white suit.
Oh, yeah. And the white shoes that Uncle Eddie gave him as well.
Eddie Sutton?
No, Uncle Eddie from Vacation.
Oh.
Got you these, Clark. You like that one?
I do.
All right.
You love that movie.
I do love that movie.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for saying that. Tom Izzo.
January, February, Izzo.
Uh-huh.
A whole month named after him.
Sparty might have a chance to win a national championship. And Kelvin Sampson. Old. It will not be the year of Leonard Hamilton, unfortunately. Not going well. He's done after this year. But those three, in fact, man, I don't want to get too caught up in the moment.
Go ahead.
We talk a lot about how Duke and Auburn are wagons, and they are. Like Duke is awesome.
Have you heard of Cooper Flagg?
Auburn is so old. How can they be so old and so talented at the same time? It's amazing. But I watch Houston, and it just looks like absolute hell to play those guys. I was watching play Kansas, and keep in mind this is Kansas. Like they're talented. They have some playmakers.
They're unranked,
and I thought, how are they going to put the ball in the basket? They're getting suffocated. I just if we're thinking about, I know we talked about the bubble watch thing yesterday, like how the whole 8-9 thing. If you are paired up with Houston as your 1 and you're an 8-9, forget about it. You're done. Seriously.
Houston has lost to Auburn.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
San Diego State.
Dogfight.
Texas Tech overtime.
They are suffocating on defense, as always, and they could shoot the heck out of it this year. Did you know that the Houston Cougars, they of defense, are shooting 39.6% from 3 as a team this year?
That's pretty good. You're going to want something around that.
It's 3rd in the country.
Okay. I feel like they've always, and correct me if I'm wrong, basketball guy, but Houston's always had one over the other really clicking.
It's usually just defense.
Yeah, the last 5 years or so. And, there was somebody who used to work here that would always say, watch out for Houston. You got to watch out for Houston. Watch out for Houston. And I would always go, oh,
it's Houston.
Posh, silly.
Yeah. I mean, last year they ended up second in defense, 19th in offense.
That's still pretty good balance.
Year before that, they ended up 5th in defense, 11th in offense. Year before that, they were 8th in defense and 10th in offense.
Okay, so maybe I was wrong.
Year before that, they were 9th in defense and 7th in offense.
These are very good.
Yeah. I'm looking at the 3-point numbers by the years too. I mean, you're shooting at 40% from 3 as a team. That's
year after year?
No, just now this year. They've been in the low 30s the last couple of years, and they still had a top 10 offense in the country. But it felt like it felt like more of a St. John situation where they're just going to hound you on defense. But when you get to the tournament, I don't know what might happen. This year, they've shown the ability to consistently shoot it at a high rate. That's a wagon. I don't want to play. I don't want to go anywhere near them. It could be the year for the old guard, Riders. I'm glad they asked about that. It could be the year for the old guards. Any other old dudes at the top that are trying to win national championships this year?
Some are saying Bill Self is old.
Yeah, I'd call him a part of the old guard. He ain't going to win a national championship, though.
He is not.
No.
Feel pretty comfortable saying that.
Rick Barnes?
Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes? How do we think Rick Barnes is?
He's 70.
Old guard.
Mm-hmm.
Put him in there. Pick him up. But yeah, there's a lot of those at the top that are going to have a chance to win a national championship. Great question, Riders. Keep smoking.
Take number 2. We're going to have a bracket buster game in the Big West final.
Did you just say bracket buster?
I did.
Hang on,
Omaha.
You want me to talk about the Big West tournament?
Yeah, of course.
All right. It's a great honor to do so. UC Irvine and UC San Diego are going to be the top 2 seeds in the Big West Conference. UC San Diego, they are probably an at-large candidate, although they're in like the Drake category of, I probably wouldn't test it if I were them, losing in a conference tournament or something like that. But they should be an at-large contender. UC Irvine has the profile of like a top 70, top 100 type of team, so probably not an at-large contender for the NCAA tournament, but certainly a contender to win the Big West Conference tournament. These two teams have split against each other this year. So the best case scenario for that league is for those two teams to play in the final and for Irvine to win it.
Okay.
And then San Diego get in as an at-large, which is still a little bit of a roll of the dice, but
it helps the league as a whole.
It helps the league as a whole.
Theoretically.
And you have your bracket buster right there, even though UC San Diego doesn't have their bracket busted in this case, or at least I hope not.
Now, Big West has one of those weirdo brackets.
Indeed.
Not as weird as the Sun Belt, but still in that same format where it's basically a V on its side.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Top 2 seeds get buys into the semifinals. You would need to win 1, 2, 3, 4 games in as many days if you are a 5, 6, 7, or 8 seed in that conference.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, that conference championship is Saturday, the Big West Conference Championship. So, top 8 teams make it, and I'm sorry, not this Saturday, next Saturday. They're playing with the big boys.
Oh yeah,
that's in Henderson, Nevada. So watch out. We got a bracket buster.
Okay, I love it. I'm pro bracket buster.
Me too. Oh man.
Next take from the Riders. The round of 32 has a chance to be an all-timer.
Okay.
The hell does that mean, Riders?
Don't we always look forward to the round of 32 more than the round of 64? No. The answer is no, that we don't.
Because by then it's day 3 and day 4 of watching basketball, and my wife asked me to do stuff.
So our dear friend Evan Miyakawa.
Hi, Evan.
He is a college basketball nerd. He is tracking teams who could be underseeded. Basically, a team is underseeded if it's tournament team rating is significantly above what is expected for that seed line. So if Creighton's a 8, you compare that team to other 8s pre-tournament all time, and you put them on the scale of if they're better or worse than those teams. Looking at this graph at the scale right now, Duke and Houston, even though they'll both be 1s,
that's terrifying,
will be underseeded, meaning they can't get any higher, Josh. 1 is as high as it goes. They are better, tracking right now better than, like a lot better than any ones that we've seen. And those are 1 seeds. Basically what they're saying is
Dumb it
they
down
are
for
the
people.
strongest 1 seeds that we've seen in a long time.
Put them in the Final Four.
Now, who do the 1s match up with in the round of 32? The 8s and the 9s.
8s and the 9s. That's right.
Look to the 8s and the 9s region of this bracket, of this chart, Josh.
Okay.
There's teams like Gonzaga. So we get a Houston Gonzaga who's currently, their metrics are crazy good, but they're being projected as like a tournament, like almost bubbly type of team. Their metrics are really good, though. We love the metrics. So Gonzaga could be a really, 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 really strong 9 seed playing a really, 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 really strong 1 seed in the round of 32 at the NCAA tournament. Other teams that are in that category: UConn, Creighton,
underseeded?
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
Not quite. Illinois, BYU, Baylor, New Mexico. All of these, if these teams fall back into this region, you could have a Kansas in that area. You could have a Louisville in that area. You could have a UCLA in that area. Right? So it's, we're looking at some of the most under-seeded teams in the field, potentially matching up for the round of 32.
Look at the bottom, Connor. Look at the bottom. You see the bottom? Look at that O in the bottom.
There is an Omaha Mavericks appearance.
Look at that.
Indeed. I like the Mavs won the regular season title, if only just to get on all the bracketologies, right? Because they might not be the representative for the Summit League in the tournament, but they've been on the bracketologies for half the year now.
Half the season, yeah.
It's been great. By the way, did you happen to see where Nebraska ended up on the relative ratings chart?
Oh, no.
So if Nebraska makes the NCAA tournament as like 11 or something like that, so look at those bubble teams. Look at Nebraska,
Hi, Oklahoma,
Vanderbilt,
Utah State, very, very bad.
Utah State, San Diego State, all projected as bubble teams. All would be lower, like a 10 or 11 seeds. They would viewed as be worse 10 or 11 seeds than some of the 10 or 11 seeds. That's what they mean when they say weak bubble.
Oh, okay.
Weak bubble.
Now, one of the teams on this list, I know we want to keep it moving here.
Yeah,
but
it's good fun.
Ohio State. That's a team Nebraska plays tonight.
Yes.
In this chart, if I'm reading it correctly, says that if they get in the tournament, they'll be an 11, but they're better than that. Right? I'm reading this all correct, yes? And that's who Nebraska has to play today.
Yeah.
Just checking.
It don't mean jack, baby.
Making sure
We
got
have
all the
no
data.
idea what Nebraska. You got any idea what Nebraska's going to do tonight?
Nebraska doesn't have any idea what Nebraska's going to do tonight.
Exactly. By the way, a couple texts real quick.
Hi, texts.
Here's from Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
You guys are obsessed with Omaha this year. Nobody cares. Fake news, Jeff.
The bleep you talking about?
Yeah. Have you seen
a
the
local
trash cans?
school's going to make the tournament for the first time ever, and I don't know, all sorts of social media virility talking about the trash cans and a team doing something it's never done before. Get the hell out of here.
Yep. We love the Mavs. If they go to the tournament, then yeah, people are going to really care around here. Also, Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
As long as it's not the relatively old guard at Auburn, that jackass, Bruce Pearl, doesn't deserve a title, nor do those weirdo fans who took on an even worse football coach, the worst combination of bad people at the two main jobs in Division I. That's actually a great take, Aaron. I hope nothing good ever happens to Auburn. They don't deserve it.
But if it does, you'll see Barkley hanging out all over the place, and people will be like, I kind of like Auburn. Charles Barkley's there.
No good. No good to me. This whole Houston Duke being so good thing has thrown off the whole deal.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Who am I supposed to root for? Auburn, Duke, or Houston?
I mean, those are lock, stock 3 1 seeds right there. We're only playing for one more 1 seed at this point, and it's probably in between 3 more SEC teams. Tennessee, Florida, and Bama. This is horrific. Horrific.
Nightmare scenario.
And Duke is mildly likable. It's weird.
Don't like that.
It's weird.
We have another take from the writers.
Yes, writers.
Or is this just a Connor note?
Well, what do the writers want to talk about here?
Well, I mean, you're supposed to give us takes.
Oh, they want to talk about small conference tournament.
Small conference tournament. Look ahead to tonight.
Let me give you a preview. This is my portion of what to watch tonight, or the writers' portion of what to watch tonight.
Okay, good, because these games are not included.
So the Sun Belt will begin this evening.
The weirdest bracket.
Absolutely.
In college.
The one that has the most steps. I'll explain that in a second. 12-seeded Southern Miss against 13-seeded Coastal Carolina, and 11-seed Louisiana against 14-seeded Louisiana Monroe. The Sun Belt title is next Monday, meaning the teams that win tonight would have to win 7 games in 7 days to make the NCAA tournament. Good luck to any 4 of those teams.
So one of the weird things about the Sun Belt bracket is, yes, it protects the top 2 seeds, but if
it's a long road to get there, and a lot of them are on campus sites too.
But if Southern Miss was to get to the championship game, I feel like that would be a story in sports that would grow over the course of those 7 days, and people would talk about.
Yeah,
so. Not that it's win-win, but
you're in full support of this.
If it happens, that's good for the conference.
It'll
too.
happen maybe one day, but it's hard.
Brett is in here. It says Sun Belt is not on campus sites.
I felt like I looked that up last night and I found out that it was.
For the Hercules Tires Sun Belt.
Yeah, a couple of these are, by the way, brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Wow.
No, it's at the Pensacola Bay Center in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, no better place to spend a week.
I apologize. A lot of these are on campus sites, though. Like the initial preliminary rounds of the Horizon League, which begin tonight. 2 7 o'clock games. Oakland, or I think 6 o'clock Central, actually.
Wait a minute.
Oakland and Green Bay.
Doug Gottlieb.
It's
your chance to prove it.
So Gottlieb's season ends tonight. You can go back to doing radio after tonight.
Whew.
They play formerly known as Jack Golke's school, Oakland, in the 6-11 game in the Horizon League. Northern Kentucky is a 7. They get Detroit Mercy.
Have mercy.
And the later game will be Wright State against Indy.
Now that's ooey pooey, but they've changed the name a couple times, right?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know. The preliminary rounds will be hosted at the high seed sites. Semifinals and finals are neutral in Indianapolis, but not at the Bank and not at Josh's favorite oil drum, a different arena.
Have you had the cocktail sauce?
A third arena is at the Indianapolis. Patriot League, number 10 seed Holy Cross, number 7 Lafayette tonight. Lehigh is the 9th seed against Loyola, Maryland as the 8th seed. I believe
Loyola, Maryland?
I believe that is the conference in which Bucknell has the 1 seed.
Oh, I've heard you got to watch out for Bucknell this year.
And then in the A-Sun, they take 2 nights off after firing things up the last 2 nights. So they're off tonight and tomorrow, but they get back at it Thursday with Lipscomb and Queens. And these are the semifinals, and North Alabama against Jacksonville. These are all Division I basketball teams that have theoretically chances to win the national championship.
Nebraska played Queens.
I believe they played Queens last year. Yes,
at the Weirdo PBA tournament.
That's right. That is right.
Yes, I know ball.
You got it. Thank you, Riders.
Yeah, go back to your bongs.
Yep. Start bonging it up again. Bing bong.
After party starts now for the Riders.
All right. We're back. We will talk about a little bigger picture college basketball with our local teams tonight. Before we talk to Bigelow coming up at 1, it's the Connor Happer Show. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
It's like ominously cloudy outside. I mean, I know our window is tinted here a little bit, but
something's happening.
We got headlights on Dodge Street.
It's 12:45.
I don't see. It doesn't appear as if the wind is a factor yet.
Okay.
But whenever that thing blows in, I thought that there was supposed to be some rain first.
It's coming. Don't worry.
I don't know what the next 24 hours of weather are going to be like.
Well, you're going to get a lot of the seasons in the next 24 hours.
Yep. We get spring this morning or fall, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it. And then we'll be getting winter. And then apparently this weekend we're back to spring or maybe even some summer.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
So Sunday, the high is 57, not as high. 65 Monday, 69 next Tuesday.
Nice.
Look at us. Yep, just got to make it through this disaster, whatever this is going to be. Anyway, basketball tonight. It's still basketball season, Josh.
Hoops.
All right, flip a coin. You're the commissioner of the SEC. Who goes first? Creighton or Nebraska? Josh, flip the coin.
Let's go Creighton now, and then we'll end with Nebraska, and it'll flow right into Jacob Bigelow.
Well done.
Okay.
Well
How'd I
done.
do?
You did great. Creighton plays Seton Hall tonight on the road. Seton Hall's been pushing some people lately. Not advisable for Creighton to lose this game.
Don't do it.
Also, not advisable for them to continue to shoot this poorly.
I would like to see that improve.
Yeah,
yes.
it's just one of those things that's really starting to grab your attention now.
Mm-hmm.
Just been floating around 30% for a while. It was another bad day from 3 against Xavier. You know, you're walking into a hornet's nest or whatever, but like they didn't handle the pressure very well, and obviously Xavier made shots 6 of 24 from 3 at Xavier over the weekend. Seton Hall, it's a rough go. It's a rough go for these guys.
So
it's a rough go, Josh.
They are 7-22.
They have had their one shining moment this season.
They beat UConn.
That guy definitely didn't travel when they beat UConn.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Definitely didn't travel. So I think that should get everybody's attention, right? That should probably get your attention. They've kept it close recently with teams like Xavier that Creighton just got drilled by with, thought they were going to beat Villanova for a long time in that game. And they gave St. John's a pretty good run on Saturday at the Garden. And so I think that alone should probably get your attention if you're Creighton tonight. And not that I'm particularly worried, but I will say this, the last time where they played, DePaul or DePaul adjacent, aka we're talking about DePaul in this case, when they played DePaul last week, just kind of felt like Creighton sleptwalked through it, And I felt like, this team has got, they have veteran leadership and experience. They just didn't play well in that game. It was good enough to get out of there with a win. If you play like that tonight, you'll lose on the road in the Big East. Like, simple as that. So, would not be advisable. Now, let me throw in a wrench into the equation. This is all about the tournament, right? It's all about seeding. We talked about yesterday, the path to getting to a 6 looks narrower and narrower by the day, almost impossible at this point.
Seems like it.
Can I interest you in a 10? You're getting dangerously close to the bubble at this point, which Creighton's a lock for the tournament. Can I interest you in a 10 seed? Can I interest you in just throwing the game tonight?
Whoa.
I'm just talking about, like, you could, if you're a Creighton fan, you rationalize a loss tonight to Seton Hall if it happens.
That is what happened.
By doing exactly what I just said. It's like, well, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. We could, maybe we'll beat Butler on Saturday, senior day, whatever. Have a great day with Kalkbrenner, and then lose in the first round of the Big East, or lose in our first game of the Big East tournament, and we'll go home, take a couple weeks off. We'll take that 10 seed. We'll run into, I don't know, some crap team that looks exactly like you in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and then you take your chances against a 2 instead of a 1.
They would have to lose 3 in a row, right?
They definitely have to lose to Seton Hall.
Yeah, Seton Hall, Butler.
Yeah. I am not advocating for this, to be very clear.
I don't like this plan.
I am not advocating for this. I never advocate for losing. I hate tanking.
No.
I hate things like this. But I'm saying if they lose tonight, you can rationalize it to yourself by saying,
Get ready to make fun of me, Connor. Lenardi's latest bracketology has Creighton as an 8, taking on the overseeded Utah State as a 9 seed. They'd play Auburn in the second round.
Not interested. More interested in playing Auburn than Duke and Houston. I'll say that. But Auburn's been a little slippery lately.
Nebraska in the same bracket as Creighton.
Oh, are we about to do that again this year too?
They would meet in the
Final Four,
Sweet 16, I believe.
That would
Nebraska would have to win a play-in game to get
So
to
they have
the
to win
round of 64.
3 games to get to the Sweet 16.
But it is there. Also, Omaha not in a play-in game. In
You're
Lunardi's
so
bracket.
Lunardi-pilled.
It's just the easiest for me to get to.
Now, has he updated today?
He has. This is an update this morning.
All right.
Omaha not in a play-in game.
All right.
Playing Houston in Wichita.
Debo writes in on YouTube.
Hi, Debo.
About to get hot, or is this who they are? Steven has got to be better there. So it's the book is pretty much out. Like, if you pressure him, it all of a sudden gets a lot harder for Creighton's offense. So they have to be able, I think, like, it doesn't, as much as people want to make Steven like the guy who makes it go, and no doubt about it, he has to be good in order for them to win. Creighton needs other options. They need Jemiah to be good. He's sort of disappeared a little bit lately.
Yeah, they need a shooter.
And they need Fedor to knock down some threes. Like, there's not many opportunities. And they need Trout, right? They need everybody to do the top level of what they're supposed to do. Yeah, I think it's hard to trust them right now. It just doesn't feel like you're playing your best basketball going into March.
Yes.
That's all. Like, you just want to be playing better basketball. And so maybe tonight could be a get right opportunity, or maybe it causes more consternation going into senior day on Saturday. For the Skurs, for the GBR. Oh, by the way, just a reminder here, if Creighton ties with Marquette in the Big East standings, the Jays have the tiebreak. If Creighton ties with UConn has the tiebreak. So we'll be watching Marquette UConn very closely tomorrow night.
Go Marquette.
I believe that's right.
Go Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
Always loved that guy.
Nebraska needs to throw the kitchen sink at Ohio State tonight. Josh, do you have any thoughts on how Nebraska will perform this evening at Ohio State?
How they will perform?
Yes, how they will perform.
I don't know, but I'm officially dubbing this, Connor, a show me something game.
Really?
Show me you've got a heartbeat.
Feels like it needs to be more serious.
Show me you've got a life. Should we make it a must-win?
Well, I mean, the last game was a must-win. We already did that.
Okay.
No, I called the last game a can't lose.
Mm-hmm. A can't lose is not a must-win.
Yeah, but it's functionally the same. Because you're either going to win or you're going to lose.
Feels different.
Yeah. How about this? How about loser goes home game? Ohio State loses at home to Nebraska. They're on the bubble.
Both are on Lunardi's last 4 in.
It's amazing how the home road split does that much of a difference and how the win or loss is perceived. Like, for Ohio State, they can't lose at home to Nebraska tonight, but if Nebraska goes on the road and beats Ohio State, it's like a monumental meter-moving win for them. Yeah. It's amazing.
Hey, you pulled it out.
That's the stupid Big Ten. And we already talked about how this year it's very easy. I honestly, I was thinking about this last night. This is probably the reason why we're looking at the bubble being so weak, or parts of the bubble being so weak, because you have all these Big Ten teams that are like bubble adjacent. And it's never been easier, according to the numbers, for Big Ten teams to go on the road and win games this year. And so their metrics are being bumped by the fact that they win games on the road at a higher rate than they've ever won games on the road. And yet you look at the teams and you're like, gosh, I just don't get it. I'm just not sure if the quality is like really that good. And yet they all find themselves on the right side of the bubble. Even Nebraska, who just got beat by Minnesota at home. Once again, there's a Big Ten team winning on the road. Even Nebraska, who just got done getting beat by Minnesota on their home floor. They're still, like, depending on where you look, they're still either directly on the bubble or on the right side of it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Metrics could do you a lot, Josh.
I'd like to see the team have a pulse tonight.
Yeah.
In the first half, not, oh, crap, we're down 20. We got to go, guys. We got to go.
First 4 minutes, have a good segment. Have one of these. Oh, wait. That's not the drop by itself.
Yeah, it's a stinger. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good segment to start the game.
Good segment.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the prediction is concerned, I got nothing for you.
Couldn't if I tried.
I've often thought, I've been thinking more over the last couple weeks. What would be the weirdest possible thing to happen? And I think if you start on Saturday before the Minnesota game, you would say, Well, here's the most unexpected thing. Losing to Minnesota, check. Beating Ohio State, and then losing to Iowa at home to finish out the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So if we follow the logic of this is going to end up in the stupidest way possible, Nebraska will win tonight. And you know what? I cautiously subscribe to my own theory that I've just proffered. Cautiously.
Boy, you hear a lot of people who cover this team talk about this team, and
nobody likes this team.
They just talk about how really disjointed they are and the not gelling.
Yep. It's uncomfortable conversation.
Minnesota might have broken them. I mean, Iowa might have broken them all those weeks ago. But
so you think they're gonna roadkill tonight? This is a roadkill game. Is that what you're saying? You think they're gonna lay over on the top of the road?
I think
because I don't.
I think they might give good effort and still lose.
Yes, that's possible, but I don't think this is a roadkill game.
No, I don't. I think it will be a competitive game of basketball in which they fall just short.
All right. We're back with Jacob Bigelow coming up on the other side. We'll dive into this one even further, and maybe we'll spread out and take a look at some of the other things that are going around college basketball as well. Yeah, spread your wings a little bit. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He's heating up.
That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you.
Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire.
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620 The Zone.
Boom shakalaka.
Hey, little news for you out of the Summit League.
Is this what Gary was talking about?
Yes. Markel Sutton has been named the Summit League Player of the Year. They don't call it the Player of the Year in the Summit League. They call it the Playa. of the year.
Wow.
And Markel Sutton
Fun.
won it. Indeed. The Mavs get the 1 seed and the player of the year up in Sioux Falls coming up this week.
But nobody cares, as we were told in the last segment.
Plus 500 to win the whatever, and I guess nobody cares.
Yep.
Jacob Bigelow joins us now on the hotline. Jacob, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
Hello, Hap. I am doing well. Not too bad, all things considered. It's March now. It's some would argue that it's me season now that it's March, but I'm here. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You are an attender of Mavs basketball games. Markel Sutton, player of the year, surprised to you at all?
No, I am not surprised. He's had a great season. He's one of those guys that stuck with it under when Crutch got there, and the development and the hard work has paid off for him. Not a bad little few minutes there for the Mavs, Coach of the Year and Player of the Year, and both very well deserved in the Summit League.
All right, let's go back to Saturday afternoon, unfortunately, for Nebraska basketball. And it is so the players come to the press conference now and they're like, wow, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. And then we talk about it on the radio, or you and I have these conversations and we say, wow, it really feels like we're talking about the same thing over and over again. That was certainly the case on Saturday. I just can't figure out why it keeps happening. Do you have any ideas?
No, I do not have the slightest idea. They say the definition of insanity is attempting to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That is what this Nebraska basketball season felt like. And then some. It feels like a broken record. It feels like Groundhog Day. It feels like all the cliches. And it might have reached the Groundhog Day crescendo on Saturday with the season on the line. You're playing a team that's under 500 that has never won a game in the building you're playing in, and you put yourself in a position where you're down by 20 points. And that was one of the more embarrassing efforts I've seen in that building. And these four eyes have seen some disgusting basketball in that building since the day it opened. And I'm still not quite past how that game went and how they were in the position they were in. But it was pretty rough, to put it lightly. And now we're a couple hours away from it being in the rear view with the next game up. But I really don't have an answer.
I feel like this is just a thing that has bubbled up or maybe been in the background of the conversations that we've had regarding this team all year long. But I don't like. And obviously it's easy to confirm it now or to have it reinforced now, given that they lose. They're on this losing run. But like the team chemistry piece, how do you, I guess, how do you parse through that right now? And once again, keep in mind, they're losing. So it's sort of easy to pile on. I don't know that anybody would have said that after they won the Diamond Head Classic. Right. So how do you dive into that right now and what does it mean for them at the moment?
No, I mean, I think it's definitely a part of it. I mean, Fred Hoiberg talked about body language again, after that game on Saturday. And I think that's been, their body language has been pretty telling for the last few months. I mean, I've been at all these home games. I try to pay attention to timeouts and when they're going into huddles, coming out of huddles, that sort of thing. I mean, I think back to, this was a month ago now, and it was, when they ride it, almost two now. No, when was that Illinois game? January 30th, right?
Yeah, you got it.
I still think about that Andrew Morgan presser before that Illinois game, and some of the answers he was giving about, the tough conversations and guys needing to let it all out and say what they didn't like that was going on and all that sort of thing. I still I think that definitely kind of was saying the quiet part out loud, and that was more than a month ago now, and I think it still rings true. I mean, obviously that you're a team, you've got one common goal. You guys don't all have to be best friends. You don't have to go have dinner together. You don't have to do all that. But when you put the jersey on, you get out on the court, you got one common goal, and that's to win basketball games. And I think it's definitely. There's definitely some questions there for me.
They haven't, what's funny though, we preface that, we have that into the conversation, and we also know what we knew about this team, which is they don't have like a ton of talent and athleticism. They have a couple good players that you could depend on. And when you add in that you can't get consistent effort and the team chemistry is not great and the basketball IQ doesn't seem to be great either, I found myself repositioning the question and saying, man, it's frankly amazing that they are still, even with all that, on the doorstep of going to the NCAA tournament, a thing that does not happen around here all that often. Like when you flip the question over that way, all of a sudden it doesn't seem that bad.
Well, I mean, I was reminded recently that this team, they were picked 12th in the Big Ten preseason. They tied for 12th. You can only, make chicken salad out of chicken, what, when it comes to to roster construction and trying to get the juice out of, a not so perfectly constructed roster. And here they are. I mean, people are acting like they're already a cadaver being studied and they're dead and the season's over and everything's in front of them. Like they still have it. The most on-brand Nebraska basketball thing ever would be for them to win tonight and then come back for what I'm sure would be a crazy atmosphere for a Sunday afternoon game against Iowa, possibly the Fran McCaffrey last ride, and you're right back into they're still in the conversation. That's the thing. They have been declared dead. They're people online it's the Monty Python, bring out your dead. They're dead. It's dead. It's over. It's not. That's the thing. It just the roller coaster that you've talked about all season, everyone's talked about all season. It just continues. And I mean, 7 hours from now, I could be completely off. It could be completely different, but they still have everything they could possibly want this time of year in front of them.
How much do you read into the quote that Hoiberg gave yesterday, which was, last week was one of the toughest weeks of my professional career. Guy's been through a lot. He's been fired. He's kind of been chewed up and spit out once or twice. He was in the middle of a international pandemic. He was one of the faces of it, right? And he said
he led the league in 3-point shooting and then had to retire because he had to have heart surgery.
Yep.
That is another part of his professional career. He had to attempt to coach a basketball team that was thrown together by the Garpax front office in Chicago for multiple seasons. I would tend to believe him, though. I think Fred Hoiberg wants it, and he wants it bad. And I think he might even want it more than some of the guys on his roster. And I think that is what's eating at him. That is where a lot of his frustration is coming from, is that he wants to be the guy who gets over the hill, gets over the hump at Nebraska. He is all in on Nebraska, and it's that's what he wants the guys on the team to be as all in on Nebraska as he is, and I think that's part of why he's looked so frustrated. Especially aside from the results and how it's looked these last few games.
What are I know the season's not over yet, but once again, to your point, we talk about it like it is. What are the lessons that can be learned from this group? Whether it's about the construction of it, the talent of it, the chemistry of it, what is the big takeaway from this team as Fred Hoiberg sees it, and that he can apply to how he builds a roster going forward?
I think the biggest thing roster construction wise is you can't try to force guys to be things they aren't role wise, because there's been a lot of that going on. I think back to the spring when Andrew Morgan committed and they were saying he could fill the rink mass role, initiate offense through the high post and be a playmaking big. He has done none of that. You bring in a guy in Connor Essegian who's probably more so built to be a spark off the bench, come in, hit some threes, attempt to play some defense. That's your third option in scoring. And it's just they've tried to pigeonhole some guys into being in roles that they aren't, but that's what they've kind of had to do. They've almost had to, try to moneyball a team together outside of two 60-year seniors who decided to come back and then it's kind of the Moneyball island of misfit toys outside of Williams and Gary.
Do you have any sense on what might happen tonight?
I think it's going to get one of two ways. I think they're either going to win and it's going to be like Game of Thrones. What do we say to the God of Death? Not today. Or they're going to lose by 20. And I think there's no in between. I don't think there's a close heart rip out, one possession loss. I think they're either going to come out and win or it's going to be ugly right away. And I'm in for a long night on this YouTube watch party that I agreed to do this evening.
Oh yeah. And to add on top of it, it's an 8:00 game on Peacock. So that'll be enjoyable as well.
Correct. 9:00 local time in Columbus in an arena where people who have played in that program have told me is where hype goes to die. So I'm sure that will be quite the atmosphere at 9:00 local time at the Schottenstein Center this evening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, whatever happens, it'll be a weird environment, I think, for Sunday. If they win, it'll probably be really good. If they lose, it'll probably be really weird. There's probably a little bit of a gray area in there as well, but we're going to learn a lot here in the next 5 days of Nebraska basketball.
Absolutely. They could be in back-to-back eliminators. Tonight could be the ultimate tourney bubble loser leaves town game, and then Sunday could be the Big Ten tournament loser leaves town game against Iowa at 11:30 in Lincoln. But yeah, it's going to be quite the couple days here for sure.
What else are you watching out for right now? As I mean, it's basically Bigelow season where we're looking around college basketball, looking for movements, things like that. And the portal is going to open up and all that stuff. What are we watching right now for what might affect us going forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely carousel season. The carousel is starting to spin lightly. I think there will be some there may be some movements in the ACC here in the near future. Obviously, I've got some eyes on Bloomington, Indiana, and what they want to do there. And it's not coaching carousel-y, but tonight in Fort Collins, Colorado is Tim Miles' coaching tree family reunion night. Colorado State, San Jose State. I probably should be there, all things considered, but I'm not. I'm here. But I'm watching a lot. I think the thing with Nebraska is the bubble's so bad that what you're rooting against almost more than anything, if you're a Nebraska fan, is bid thieves in mid-major conferences because of how bad the bubble is. So I think about some teams that I have close ties to that could get hot and win their mid-major tournaments. And I'm just if this is what happens, then that's what, how Nebraska were to miss it, I wouldn't be shocked because this has been kind of a hilarious college basketball season that's super top heavy. And then after that, it's just a mess.
Yep. All right, Jacob. Great stuff as always. Appreciate it. And Godspeed on that watch party thing tonight. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you. There will be, the attempts at fun will be had. 8:00. Late night, Peacock. Could be one for the road, but we'll see how it goes. I appreciate the time like always. Have a good show. Good rest of the week.
Yep. See you later. That's Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated Stretch Big Podcast, and catch his watch party tonight on the I-80 Club. So bid thieves, bid stealers. Which one do you like, by the way? Bid thieves or bid stealers?
I go Steelers.
Yeah, I've always said bid stealers too.
Okay.
Bid thieves is interesting though. It's fun. So we mentioned one of the conferences earlier in the show, the Big West. So you're rooting for UC San Diego in the Big West.
Okay.
If you're a Nebraska fan and you don't want your bid to be stolen.
Don't want that.
Right? Because they look like an at-large candidate outside of the conference. So if that conference gets 2, that's one spot that you don't have. Drake.
Drizzy?
Drizzy Drake in the Missouri Valley. You don't want anybody else to win the Mo Valley tournament.
Arch Madness.
You don't want anyone else to win Arch Madness. You want Drake to be hoisting that trophy and having the big sign that just says Missouri Valley champs.
That's right.
Those are the days.
Kind of miss them a little bit.
Yeah. And you're going to have a pretty good idea of what that might look like before you go into the Big Ten tournament next week. All right. Let's take a break here. We still have a couple things left to get to on the show. And of course, we want to hear from you all. 402-951-1620. Also feel free to tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. I got a take for you, Josh.
Love a take.
Mike Eckler could play a president on a television show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's got the hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the jaw. He's got sort of a... When he's not yelling at Lee Corso's face, he's got sort of a kind of a stoic look to him. He doesn't have... I don't think he has like the personality for it.
No, the hair at the press conference today was...
He's got the look. He's got the look. By the way, speaking of playing presidents, I have been getting my TikTok feed, once again, Josh, I'm following your advice. You don't have to watch everything that they show you. I'm not watching this show. But I have seen clips and I'm intrigued. Okay. My feed has been telling me to watch this show on Hulu called... What am I going to say?
I don't know, but I know the show you're about to say.
Paradise.
Yes. I knew it started with a P.
So James Marsden is the president.
Yeah.
And there's about to be some sort of catastrophic event. And that's all I could put together. But James Marsden is the president. You kind of got me. I'm interested. James Marsden, kind of presidential. Mike Eckler, kind of James Marsden-y.
Couple poll questions coming out of that.
Could Mike Eckler play a president in a limited series on Hulu? Yes. Put that poll question up, please. Okay. Could Mike Eckler play the president on a limited series on Hulu?
Also up on @Happer Show, James Marsden, kind of president-y? Question mark.
Yeah.
Could Mike Eckler?
Got
it. I'm still learning Eckler. That's why I say it like that. Could Mike Eckler play a president on a limited series on Hulu?
You got it. I expect to see that one at the end of the month. I like that one.
That's a good one.
All right, so here's some quotes. Just poking through, and thanks to Husker Online for just putting them all basically in one place. Special teams became so important to him because he liked to be on an island as a coach. Quote, I like the heat. That's why I came here. He understands that if special teams do well, it's because of the players. And if they struggle, quote, it's on me. Eckler said thinking about returning to Nebraska, quote, brings tears to my eyes. He remembers coaching Levante David and how special that was in his career. And it, quote, kind of led me back to here to work with Coach Rule. Walked into an opportunity of a lifetime. Eckler said Nebraska was, quote, where I'm from. This is my home. His family lives here. He grew up on Nebraska football, quote, it's in your blood. Eckler's motto for special teams is ABT or ABM. Interesting. ABM. Wasn't that the collective before 1898 it?
Whoa. His slogan is he's going to be chanting at people constantly is a BM.
ABT.
Oh, okay.
Or ABM.
I would go with ABT.
ABT is all about technique.
Okay.
ABM. No, I'm sorry. ABT for ABM. I'm getting this wrong. ABT for ABM. All about technique, for all about money. Have you heard in college football these days, Josh? It's all about money.
It's all about money. TV money.
The more you can do, the more valuable a commodity you'll become in the NFL. Quote, if you say you want to be a pro, be a damn pro. Live it. Don't talk about it.
Okay, kind of like that. I would agree.
Oh, he has another
I love
acronym.
Work.
Are you ready for another acronym?
Hope it's better than the last one.
All right. Eckler said his evaluation at kicker was a day-to-day process. He told the kickers that they had a clean slate, but the standard here is to be the best. That's what the standard is. So we've got to giddy up and go, or we're going to find someone who will live up to that standard. Quote, it's RLS.
Okay.
Real life shiz.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think he said shiz.
Thank you for censoring yourself.
Yep. People don't say, you could just say stuff, you know.
Yeah.
We're done with shiz. All right.
Poll question: are we done with shiz?
We do not do shiz anymore.
Yeah, I would agree with.
Don't you think? I mean,
it's
after Lil Wayne.
It's past the point where like your mom says it and you're like, okay, this has lost all meaning.
We don't
dab anymore.
Whizzle or dizzle or shizzle anymore. And shizzle ended up just getting shortened to shiz after a period of time. That's your origin story on shiz. It's not what you do, but how you do it. That seems like it could have been credited to any coach. But Mike Eckler did indeed say that today.
Poll question up at Happer Show. Are we doing shiz anymore?
Couple texts came in. WTF.
That's a good acronym. I know what that one means.
And Jeff writes in about that show that I talked about on Hulu.
Hi, Jeff.
Excellent show. Must watch. That's what Hulu keeps telling me.
Why would Hulu lie?
I mean, that's what the internet keeps telling me. I look at the comments and I'm like, wow, this is a great show. And I'm like, I don't have enough information to tell me if it's a great show yet.
Okay.
But I'm in on the idea.
I've got a Google
catastrophic
rating.
event. James Marsden is the president. That's the story.
Google rating 4.6 out of 5.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes rating 82% from the critics, 83% from the audience.
Pretty
so,
good.
yeah,
it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Keena writes in.
Hi, Keena.
Do you have to love acronyms to work with Matt Rule?
I'm going to guess to be a lot of different football coaches. You have
Please,
to,
please, on your resume, on your LinkedIn or whatever, please list all the acronyms that you like.
Mm-hmm.
And I will judge the man on the acronyms.
All right, we've got it narrowed down to 3 candidates. I will tell you nothing about them, but I have written their acronyms on the whiteboard.
Both,
whichever one we like most.
But important here, it's not just in the quality of the acronyms, it's also in the quantity. Because I need to see both. I need to see a lot of acronyms, and they all need to be good.
How else do I know whether or not you're working?
Does this person say shiz? That's the cherry on top, ladies and gentlemen. I think you do. I think you have to like. I think you have to like acronyms to work for Matt Rule. Keena also says James Marsden is about 60 years too young to be the president. James Marsden is probably like 50. He's going to be like 110. I don't think we've had 100. Yeah, I don't think we've had a 110-year-old president.
I guess he has been pretty present in my life for the last 20 years, and I don't realize it. I would not have guessed 51.
Look at this, Josh. You made a graphic of the Summit League Playa of the Year.
Yeah, Playa.
Thank you for
Playa. One of those big on-3 style graphics. Playa.
That's right. That's in the Summit League. They call it the Playa. Sam writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Sam.
Eckler knows it's more efficient to speak in acronyms than you have to explain to people. Yeah. You explain the acronyms afterwards.
Sure.
Because that's what gets people curious, right? You all of a sudden start saying acronyms, A, B, T. And you're like, what's that mean? That engages you in a conversation. We can't just have this guy going around saying ABT, 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 ABT.
He's asking for things PDQ.
And if I know what ABT actually stands for, all about technique, he's just going, that's just normal stuff that coaches say. But it adds a layer of mysteriousness that I really enjoy here.
And then you think you're behind, like, oh my gosh, I'm behind. I've missed something. I don't know what this acronym means. I better start working harder, focusing in the room.
Yeah. I like his vibe. I like what we got going here. This is good.
Another off-season win for the University of Nebraska.
Hang the banner. Alex Lincoln, by the way, follows up on that Hulu show. It's pretty good. Worth a try.
Okay.
Also, Pedro, random one.
Hi, Pedro.
I'm going to start to call him Random Pedro, by the way.
Oh.
Hi, guys. If you could get a big head of any coach in America, who would it be? Like a fat head? Maybe it's Mike Eckler now. ABT, 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 ABT.
Trying to think. I don't know.
Lee Corso.
That would be fun.
He was a coach. He was the old ball coach.
He was. People forget.
All right. More big picture college football here before we get out of here.
Football?
Hey, Bill Connolly. I clicked on this story because I like reading the things that Bill Connolly has to say regarding fixes for the college football playoff. He's the title of the story was How to Handle the Playoff Expansion the Right Way. And I'm like, oh, this will be really good. I wonder what he thinks. And basically, he just agrees with me. This was the greatest click I've ever clicked on ESPN. I was nodding my head the entire time. Keep the seating as it is. We don't need to jump to conclusions about having 1 year where all the high seeds lost. Do 16 instead of 14 if you're going to expand the thing. Limit the auto bids. The 4 auto bids for each conference is stupid. Straighten out the scheduling. Make the SEC play 9 games. Play more on-campus games during the college football playoffs. And adjust the calendar so you're not playing into the first week of February. Done! I will sign up for this completely.
Yeah. That's the path.
This is absolutely the path. And like we have already given in, right? This is going to, and not that I necessarily want to keep it at 12. I always thought that 12 was a half measure for wherever we were going next.
16.
I can't figure out why they moved it to 12, to be honest with you. Remember when the playoff was 4? Why did we go to 12?
Seems.
Why
like a
did we do
stretch.
that? Why didn't we go to 8 or 16?
Well, I think our end game is 16. But we got to pace ourselves.
But I know, but it's so weird that we're in this weird zone of like, we want radical change, but we don't want that radical of change.
We want radical change, but we don't want the change to be radical.
Like, in a span of 5 years, we are going from players not being allowed to eat turkey sandwiches that were given to them by a guy named Joe on the street, otherwise they get in trouble and penalized by the NCAA, to getting paid multi-million dollars from the school. That's radical change, Josh.
It is.
That is radical change. And yet it's like, yeah, we better go to 12. We better go to 12 in the playoff. Like,
and
all
don't do the 12 to 14 to 16. Just go to 16.
They definitely should have went to 16.
14 is stupid.
And then we wouldn't have even had to been doing the whole seeding conversation this past year. But here we are. We're in the 12 era right now. And it looks like we're going to be in the 12 era this year, this coming year. Actually, I mean, we will be. So we'll have 2 years of the 12-team playoff. And then the contract will expire. And then we'll go to 16 after that.
I'm okay with that.
Now, what kind of trust do I have in order in the people and the powers that be to get this right? Not much. But please don't do the automatic bids thing. And Bill Connolly kind of explains this thing. He says, it's hard to simulate previous seasons because the power conference structure has changed so much in 2024. But even with just a 14-team playoff, not even 16, the SEC and Big Ten would almost certainly average around 4 bids each, at least. That's how many they would have gotten with a 14-teamer in 2024. So let's just play it out. You're going to get your teams in anyway.
Yes.
A 4-4-2-2-1-1 structure makes it look as if you're unnecessarily rigging the game in your favor. We finally have a true tournament for deciding major college football's national champion, and we're immediately going to try and turn it into some sort of weird invitational instead? ? With guaranteed playoff spots, it appears the leagues with multiple bids would also be able to create a new TV spectacle for championship weekend. Playing games, where say the number 3 team in the conference hosts the number 6 team for an automatic spot in the field. I understand the draw of a win-in situation. It's like a playoff game in and of itself. But while I always have scoffed at the idea of an expanded playoff ruining the integrity and the impact of the regular season, as we saw in 2024, it muffled the relative impact of a few specific games while magnifying the impact of far more. This would actually threaten to render the impact of lots of regular season games inconsequential. That's right, Bill. In fact, every single non-conference game. Unless you're not in the Big Ten or the Big Ten or the SEC. So consider that. I don't know what our chances are to get this right, but I'm glad that there are people with some common sense in this world that we know.
Just a few. Like, why the AQs? You're going to get those teams in anyway.
Yeah.
Weird flex of power.
Keena writes in.
Hi, Keena.
I dream of a day when a man is judged by the content of his acronyms. Me too.
Preach.
I have a dream. There was one more comment that I wanted to get here before we take off. Oh, yes. It was another thought on Paradise. Apparently, a lot of people watch this show on Hulu.
It's popular.
Text of the 402. Paradise starts a little slow, then becomes fire emoji. So good, Derek.
Fire emojis does sell me on something.
If you tell me a show is fire emoji, I'm 3 times more likely to watch it.
Definitely.
Do the math. We'll be back with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone. to the polls.
Josh loves the College World
I
Series.
have an opinion.
He loves working during the College World Series.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
So we'll never be able to make fun of him again. Martyr baton.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you be fat in Eugene, Oregon? Can you be fat in Eugene, Oregon?
I mean, I think you can. I mean, it's harder, right?
Harder to. I mean, you could be fat anywhere you please, but you'd find less fat people per capita in Eugene, Oregon than you would say here.
That's
Omaha.
it.
You can be fat though. 55% say you could be fat in Eugene, Oregon. Do you want to taste all of Tampa?
I don't know about all.
I want to taste it all, Josh. That's why I got the paella. 77% say no. They don't want to taste all of Tampa.
Paella is fine. It's the others. That's the other stuff.
James Marsden, kind of president-y? Yeah.
He'll get there. I think
people who are standing up for this Paradise show are freaking out about it right now. 68% say no.
Apologize to the Paradise Hive.
Could Mike Eckler play a president on a limited series on Hulu?
I think so.
Yes. 62% say yes.
I'd like to see that guy in a suit.
Still early. Are we doing shiz anymore?
I don't think so.
No. 78% say no. And finally, if someone tells you a show is fire emoji, are you 3 times more likely to watch? No.
It's close. It's close, though.
57% say no, but it's early. Josh, those are the polls. What are we watching?
We are watching basketball tonight. Creighton at Seton Hall, 6 o'clock on FS1, 5:30 pregame on 1620 and 101.9. The Keg. A trio of games start at 8 o'clock on ESPN. You'll get number 1 Auburn at number 22, Texas A&M on ESPN2. Number 23 BYU takes on number 10 Iowa State. And on your Peacock device, Nebraska at Ohio State. And there's a 10 o'clock game tonight as well on ESPN. Arizona State at number 24, Arizona. What's your little Ken Pom thing you say about the thrill score?
Let's see. So you're telling me that Nebraska plays tonight?
Probably not Nebraska, number 1 on the thrill score.
Auburn, Texas A&M.
That's what I would have thought.
Then BYU, Iowa State.
Okay.
Then Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Then Georgia, South Carolina. Then New Mexico, Nevada. Then Baylor, TCU. Then Indiana, Oregon. That is a big one. Villanova, Georgetown. West Virginia, Utah. And rounding at the top 10, Nebraska, Ohio State.
There it is. NBA doubleheader on TNT. 6:30 tip at the Garden for the Warriors at the Knicks. And 9 o'clock tip for the Clippers at the Suns. Hockey on Hulu. The Dallas Stars host the New Jersey Devils.
Watch out for them Devils now.
7 o'clock puck drop there.
It's been a while.
It has. Too long. And then a reminder, just because there's a presidential address on does not mean you have to watch it.
Thank you, Josh.
That goes for any president of any party ever.
Paradise on Hulu with James Marsden.
Yeah, watch that show. Disney Plus has Daredevil Born Again. First 2 episodes premiere. Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk find themselves on an inevitable collision course. And Connor, finally on Netflix, all 8 episodes of With Love, Meghan. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, formerly the Duchess of Sussex, by the way, invites guests to a beautiful California estate where she shares cooking, gardening, and hosting tips.
Oh, I thought she was going to get into the nitty gritty.
No.
She said some NDAs on that one.
Probably.
She is an interesting person. I will say that.
Interesting life trajectory.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did this happen?
But she'll tell you how to make a hell of a centerpiece.
But, okay. Interesting life trajectory. She actually seems like the opposite of an interesting person.
Yes, I would agree with that. I don't know if that's like, part of being a princess is you have to like have no personality.
But I can't know the story without knowing her, right? Like, so it's, I have to, I don't know. What's under there is probably not that entertaining, though.
Want to pick at that a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Probably not going to watch that.
No, definitely not.
All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Time to crossover. That's coming up next.